Everyone, this is Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and we're going live. We're gonna do some live stuff right now because my computer's all shut down. So I mean, if I cannot get gameplay to everyone on a daily basis, maybe we can go live on a daily basis. And I gotta be prepared because I gotta get used to doing stuff live because we're gonna start Twitch streaming when I get the new computer. It's gonna be very exciting. Let me know who is in the chat, where you are from, who's watching. Oh my God, Cody Hope is always in my live streams, and in the chat. Welcome. Good morning, Cody Hope. Good morning to everybody. I'm going to enjoy my coffee this morning with all of you. I drink a coffee every single day. I don't go a day without coffee. Those people who are like, nah, I'm not into caffeine. No, to hell with it. Caffeine. I'm huge into caffeine. I love caffeine. Caffeine is like cheating when it comes to Magic tournaments, and for me, it seems like cheating when it comes to life. I need to keep that caffeine flowing through me. So, good morning to all of you. And you know, we're all stuck inside, so we got to make the best of it anyway, and I hope you can make the best of it with me. So we are going to do a hangout. We can talk about Magic the Gathering. We can talk about the current state of Modern. We can also talk about a lot of other things going on in Magic the Gathering. A lot of drama happening, frankly, thanks to the companions. Okay, so I'm going to I've got some little bit of a setup here. I'm going to like open my my own live stream on my iPad. Oh, I can hear me. A little bit of lag, and maybe I can better see the chat. I do. It looks great. All right. 8 a.m. on a Monday morning where I'm at, and you want to live stream. That's right. That's what we're doing here, Sideshow on Acid. I got about 10 good minutes in before work. Well, I wanted to do this about 2 hours earlier, to be fair. I wanted to do this about 2 hours earlier. I couldn't do it because I slept really badly. I wanted to get a little bit more sleep. If you want an energetic Nikachu and not a Nikachu that needs the coffee or he's going to die, then I needed to get a little bit more sleep before we started this. So welcome. We got MTG Songs. We've got Max Tolv, Josie of Atlantis, Endgame, Gavin Stewart. We've got I can't read kanji very well, so I apologize. FB Pro F2, John, Jonas, Adam, Antoine, Eduardo, Endermeep. Thank you all so much for joining me this morning. So this is going to be exciting. This should be some fun. The benefit of being stuck at home, I get to always be in the Nikachu live hangouts. That's right. When you're always at home, you don't have any excuse to miss any of the Nikachu live hangouts. So, and I'm feeling good, pretty good. You know, they say to get affiliate on Twitch, you need something like 3 viewers on average. You know, we're already busting out with like 38. We're doing pretty good. I have a good feeling about getting to affiliate on the other streaming platforms. So there's going to be no problem there. I guess the real problem is getting to partner. That sounds difficult. You need something like average 75. I've been doing my research on Twitch. I've been doing my research. Not that there's a whole lot to research for. There's a lot of lame advice out there like talk. Make sure you're engaging the audience. The chat isn't going to start it for you. You have to start it. Well, thanks for the hot tip. It's pretty useless to me. Josie says, was almost asleep in my hammock when I got a message from Wasaya about this. Yeah, wake up the cats, get everyone over. Am I positioned well right here? Does this thing go higher? I think this is as high as this thing goes. I think it can go higher though. We're gonna adjust the stream. No, this is as high as this thing goes. All right. I need a bigger box to put this on. Welcome, Juan. Thank you for joining the live stream. Everyone's saying hello. We got David, D, Tulio, Liam. All right, so you can count me in for those 3 viewers on Twitch. I know I can count on Endgame. That's for sure. I know that I can count on. I can count on Endgame. I can count on Josie. I can count on the Cody Hope. They're always going to be there for all the live streams. So, without a doubt, if anyone has any questions for me, I'm willing to answer them. And if you know, Well, I think a lot of people need consoling. There's a lot of chaos going on, not only in the world, but also in the Magic the Gathering world. And we need to keep each other company over the next who knows how long. You know, we're going to be probably inside for maybe another year. We have no idea what's going to happen in the future. And I feel like the disruption to Modern came at a terrible time. I mean, this is coming at a time where, you know, they're shaking up Modern a lot with these companions, which is putting a financial burden on people. Not only that, but it's also being emotionally stressful. People are very concerned about their archetypes still being playable. Are they still going to survive in the companion metagame when already they have enough like financial and emotional stress going on from the actual world? But I have to say, it's gonna be okay. Everyone's archetype is going to survive. Modern is going to figure itself out. For sure, they're going to ban something. I don't know exactly what they're going to ban, but they're going to bring balance to Modern. And hopefully, when they bring balance to Modern again, it won't get so quickly shaken up by another Ikoria, or sorry, like another Ikoria level like set. All right, so do you see a Merfolk companion? Well, it's possible. If they want to keep going down that route, it's possible. I actually think these companions might be a one and done thing for now. I'm not sure if they're going to push companions like every single set. We'll see. But Mark Rosewater said something to the effect of like, you know, these things are going to be iconic 10 years from now, which sort of implies that they're not going to be around for the foreseeable future. Like this might be the one and done thing for companions. So we're gonna have to see. But if they make more, I mean, it's possible to make a Merfolk companion, like the companion with a restriction. All your Merfolk, or sorry, all creature types in your deck have to be Merfolk. There must be at least one Merfolk. That's right. Shadow says, I'm banned from Twitch, otherwise I'd tune in. Well, make another account. There's nothing against making million more accounts. First question, is it worth it to side Stony right now? I am not a fan of Stony Silence because I think it's clunky. I think it's just a little too clunky because like you're usually siding it in against decks where, I mean, they're like abusing artifacts, of course. And it just doesn't do enough for an enchantment for me. I did like Collector Oof because like, let's say you're up against Tron. So you're up against Tron, you play the Collector Roof, shuts down their artifacts, but you also have a clock as well, so you're able to beat down your opponent while you're shutting the artifacts down. So I like Collector Oof for that reason, but Stony Silence doesn't have that beatdown property to it, so I'm not a huge fan of Stony Silence. And I know some people are comparing Stony Silence to Damping Matrix to hose Hardened Scales Affinity. But Stony Silence doesn't work against the Devoted Devastation deck and a Damping Matrix. Like Hardened Scales Affinity and what's it called? And Devoted Devastation are two bad matchups that I think get shorn up. You shore up both those matchups with Damping Matrix. Damping Matrix, by the way, 50 cents right now. I think everyone should get a copy of them. I mean, if you're a Merfolk player, you should have this in your toolbox. I'm just starting to play with it, and we are slowly starting to see it get into position, and it's super dirt cheap right now. It's like 50 cents, less than that if you want to get like garbage copies. Holy cow, we got tons of people in the chat. All right, so I might end up. I will try my best to do everything in chronological order, but no guarantees. So 28 degrees Celsius here in my city, beautiful blue sky. It's like pretty warm here. Sherbalex and my brother in the chat might be able to say how warm or cold it is. It's like, I don't know, might be 5 degrees outside, which is warm for Winnipeg. Hello, Michael. Greetings from Germany. Or greetings from, good morning from Germany, greetings from Canada. So, what do we got? Balance, the card would break Modern. Please don't bring balance to Modern. Hey, we already got a balance. It's called Restore Balance. So Restore Balance, we do have a balance. It takes a little bit more work to get off, but there is a little bit of a little balance. And frankly, if we could balance away all the companions, maybe that would work out. So we could talk a little bit about the companions. I just want to briefly say, I polled Twitter, I polled Facebook. People hate these. Like, they really hate them. Way worse than Oko. Oko was like, people were 50-50 on that, but the companions, it's like 90% of people say, screw this card. We don't want companions in the metagame. We don't want it in Magic. This is awful. It was a landslide victory for like no companions versus the companions. I'm a companion person. Like I vocally enjoy the gameplay out of these cards. I don't mind having an 8th, 9th, 10th card in my starting hand. We should all have we should play it like spell books in my mind, but people don't like it. So that's why you poll the audience, you poll the people, and yeah, it's super negative feedback for the companions. So I hope Wizards hears this feedback, because this is way worse than Oko. Oko is 50-50. You know, people weren't, there was hate against Oko, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't like, hey, get rid of this thing right now or I'm selling out of the game. It was, you know, it was, hey, this is annoying. I'm tired of the play patterns, you know. We gotta move on from Oko. But now this is like, sounds like we are in emergency ban territory with the companions. Like people just outright hate them. You don't like playing with a companion? What's wrong? And like, there's like a companion for everyone. It's not hard to splash white or black for Lurrus either. I understand buying the Mishra's Baubles must suck. I will get that. I mean, I did not feel happy about the Mishra's Baubles. Fortunately, I have a sponsor online so I can borrow them. What the better comparison would be Damping Matrix to Suppression Field. Yeah, but oh, do you know what? That's a good point. That's a really good point, actually. So Daniel Wilcox says, you know, we should compare Damping Matrix to Suppression Field, but Damping Matrix outright shut everything down. But that's a good point. You know what? It's not bad. Suppression Field is actually really good, I think, as well. But you can still activate stuff with the Hardened Scales Affinity deck. I don't even know if I want to let my opponent pay 2 mana to activate their abilities. I'll think about that, though. If you're splashing white, Suppression Field might be a potential possibility. But it screws us, right? Like, we can't activate Mutavault. But, like, Matrix also shuts down our Aether Vial pretty well anyway, so what do I know? Any more Legacy Merfolk anytime? Maybe I'm not really deep interested in Legacy at the moment. However, there was a big upgrade in the Legacy arena for like Merfolk, because there was a huge upgrade with what's it called? Reality Shift. It's some card that basically puts our graveyard in it. I think it exiles our library. And then that allows us to combo off with Thassa's Oracle. There's for 2 mana, there's a blue spell that allows us to exile our library, and that's going to be very important because then you can play Thassa's Oracle and then win the game. So basically, Legacy Merfolk now has a combo finish. That's pretty exciting. That's like the most exciting thing to happen to Merfolk in Legacy in forever. I mean, we've just been working with very marginal upgrades in Legacy, and that will shore up a ton of bad matchups like lands, for example. So lands can durdle around and do whatever stupid crap they can do. They can prison us out and lock us out. We're just gonna like, I think it's Reality Shift. Like, correct me if I'm wrong on this card. I want to say it's Reality Shift, but I'm not entirely certain. And then you exile your library, put the Thassa's Oracle in play, and then you just combo off and win the game. So that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. I don't think that's too bad. So that sounds pretty good. I won't go deep into Legacy though. It's just not my thing. I'm now going to go further into like Modern and Historic on Arena, because Historic, if no one is playing, if you want to have fun. If you want to have fun right now in 2020 with Merfolk, you get into Historic right now. Historic is like super awesome on Arena. It's the most fun I've had in a very long time, and it feels so much like Merfolk in Modern in a lot of ways. It's got enough flash creatures, it's got enough disruption. It's really cool. A lot of people highly recommended me Merfolk in Historic, and I totally agree. It was awesome. All right, we're getting super chats. Where's all the super chats? I got at least one from JK, but no message. Just a nice thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you very much for the donation. Okay, I've been asked, where's Chubby Meatball? Chubby Meatball, you want to show up? If Chubby Meatball shows up, Chubby Meatball shows up. If Chubby Meatball does not show up, then I won't grab her anytime soon. MTG Songs agrees. We're not going to get Here, I'll actually put chat over here so it's closer to my line of eye with the camera. Yeah, I don't think companions are going to be coming back anytime soon. Don't we? Dirt, Bubble, you did not miss anything. Is there a way to play Karuga in Modern? I do not know what that card is, so I cannot help any at the moment. Nikachu, what were your first Magic cards? Do you remember the first time you played? Yes, I played, so my very first Magic card was Thieving Magpie. It's a blue, 2 generic, 1/3 flyer. If it deals damage to an opponent, you draw a card, and I played a mono blue permission deck. We're talking Counterspell, Daze, Thwart, Foil, Force of Will. My God, I had Force of Wills back then, at least 2, maybe 4, and then somehow I don't know where they went. I swear I must have thrown them away because there was like this big 10-year gap between when I quit Magic and then got back in, and I'm like, where's my Force of Wills? I own this card, and it's like ridiculously expensive now. And anyway, I don't have Force of Wills. They were gone. They were long gone. All right, so where we go. Without Loris, what is the best version of Merfolk to the meta today? Well, either it's going to be Simic Merfolk, and what I was going to do, and we still might get this gameplay up, is I was going to play no companion Merfolk, and I was just going to play Simic Merfolk with Chalice of the Void, with Master of Waves, which I think is very well positioned thanks to all the attrition-based decks that are trying to use Loris. So I think Master of Waves is very good against the Loris decks. And we take advantage of Master of Waves and Chalice of the Void and just wreck everybody. And I think it should be reasonably well positioned right now. So my brother and I were trying to figure out how to stream on his laptop. He has a laptop, huge technical difficulties. We haven't been able to like figure it all out, but we're on our way. And hopefully we can get some gameplay of no Luris Merfolk. However, if they ban Luris, I might start looking at another companion. For example, Yorion could potentially be played. You go to an 80 card deck, but it's not too big of a deal because we do have a lot of cards that we can fill the gaps. Like we can throw in more counter spells like Deprive, maybe a few, like just top up the rest of our curve. Have 4 Mirror Rejuries, 4 Master of Waves. Maybe play Fairy Conclave so that we can get to 5 mana to play Yorion. And with Yorion, you can blink Silvergill Adept, Harbinger of the Tides, Spreading Seas, Master of Waves in order to get more value. So we do actually have legitimate blink targets with Yorion in Modern. I'm going to get to my super chats immediately. Keith Shusterman, welcome. Welcome, Keith. I know you don't play Vintage, but do you have any opinions on the Luris Black Lotus interaction? I think it's going to get Luris banned. That's what I think. I mean, you know, Vintage is a pretty stupid format. I've played it, like, not too much, but I mean, it's just, like, super high wire crazy. And now it's just even worse. So, like, because there's so many games in Vintage where one side just, like, really runs away with the game. I mean, your opponent can interact, of course. You know, Mental Misstep actually goes a long way in that format. But, like, if you start the game with Black Lotus, play Luris turn 1, get another Black Lotus, you're basically free rolling a 3/2 creature that acts like Snapcaster Mage every turn. Let's say that again. You are free rolling this 3/2 creature that acts like a Snapcaster Mage every turn. Not to mention it's going to bring back Black Lotus every turn, so you have an extra 3 mana over your opponent every single turn. Like that, I think that's what makes Luris busted. If Luris was just like, for example, a one-time deal, when it enters the battlefield until end of turn, you get to draw your card, you get to flash something like a permanent back from the graveyard. Maybe it would have been fair, but because it's every single turn, that's a huge deal. I mean, imagine you have Snapcaster Mage that at your upkeep you get to flash back something every turn. Like that is just beyond ridiculous. So we've got Tharkisio, thank you very much for the super chat, by the way, Keith. Thank you very much. So we have another super chat from Tharkisio Bernardo. What would be the dynamics of an 80 card deck with the new companion? Would there have to be more redundant cards? Do you intend to play this deck? I don't intend on playing it anytime soon. Well, probably. I mean, if I could play a no companion Merfolk and then go into Yorion, I would. So it's worth exploring because other decks, so long as they The other decks that have, like, basically the control decks that had, like, too many good cards to play in their deck and they're just filling it up with, you know, the third and fourth copy of their powerful spells, they were able to go to 80 cards very easily. And I do think that Merfolk could do this. The only downside I see is that we're reducing the chances of drawing Ether Vial on turn one, which might be necessary for some decks. But without a doubt, for example, if we have, like, say, just Silver Gill, a Silver Gill Adept and a Spreading Seas on the battlefield, and we're up against Jund or Death Shadow or something, and we play Yorion, I mean, it's over. We draw 2 cards, we get, like, this big, what is it, a 4/5 flyer or something on the battlefield that you can't Lightning Bolt, you can't Fatal Push, you can't do any, I mean, maybe they can Dismember it, that's your best shot. That's huge value. I mean, that's game-breaking value. That's better than them playing Lurrus, I Dismember it, and they just get an extra card off of a Mishra's Bauble, who cares? Not to mention, I can play Rest in Peace and make that part of their combo useless. So Rest in Peace very good against them and not affecting our Yorion strategy. So I would definitely, like I said before, Harbinger of the Tides, Master of Waves, Spreading Seas, Silver Gill Adept. More things that when it enters the battlefield, we get some value, we draw some cards. There might be some other cards I might add, not entirely sure, have to figure it out. But I would have to, like, I know there's that Selkie card when it enters the battlefield. It's a 2/2 for 3 mana, you draw a card. I don't think that makes it, but basically I would just play a normal Merfolk strategy, and then randomly, sometimes we just get a ton of value off of the Yorion. So I think that would really go a long way. So thank you for the super chat. Sideshow on Acid. Buy Chubby Meatball something nice. We're gonna buy her some nice wet food. She loves wet food. They all love wet food. Salud and Salud, you want to come? Salud. No, Salud doesn't want to come. Salud's off to the side. He's enjoying the couch. Norman with the super chat. Thank you all so much for your super chats. Where do Storm and Dredge end up in the companion meta? So I can't entirely speak for Dredge, because Dredge is a powerful deck that I think can compete with the companions that are trying to grind value. However, one great interaction that Lurrus has is that it can loop back Tormod's Crypt. So Tormod's Crypt actually looks like a complete nightmare for the Dredge player. But Dredge, of course, has a few more tricks up their sleeve. They can play with Leyline of Sanctity so that they can't get targeted. So Dredge, in theory, looks good, but I also see that Lurrus decks have some, you know, an angle of beating them, so I'm not entirely sure how it's going to shake out. Storm, on the other hand, maybe looks bad, because a lot of people are going to play some form of graveyard hate. Like Storm is always in this situation of fighting the graveyard cards. I actually think Storm might be like one of the hardest decks to play in Modern, because they have so many hate cards that they have to play around, and they're always active. We're talking Chalice of the Void, Rest in Peace, Grafdigger's Cage, Relic of Progenitus. This new graveyard hate spell enters the battlefield, exile a card from the graveyard. Damping Sphere. They're all here. They're always around. So, like, when the hate cards don't line up so well against the Storm deck, you know, that's when Storm does really, really well. However, there's always hate cards right now. Chalice, I don't know if Chalice is super well popular, because it looks like a lot of the Eldrazi-tron players have just dumped Eldrazi-tron to play companion decks. So maybe that's one thing they don't have to worry about. So I don't know exactly where Storm lies in this meta. Storm always is a thing. It's always dangerous. You have to be watch out for it. But, like, they have a lot of hate cards to deal with. So MTG Songs, again with this, thank you very much again for the super chat, Noman, and MTG Songs, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for the content and positivity. Crazy you had Force of Will. Yes. Well, I mean, like, a long time ago, if you had, like, any sort of cards, you know, one of them were gonna, like, skyrocket in value. You never know what's gonna balloon in value. I had a Foil Misdirection, which at one point was, like, from the Masks block era, which at one point was like $140. It's like a lot less now because they reprinted it, and, like, Misdirection I don't think is like the be all and end all of Legacy, and Legacy is, like, winding down in popularity, so the value of Misdirection is going down. But, you know, that's one thing. I've been asked, like, you know, I've occasionally heard from, like, many sources that if you, like, think you're quitting, you're not. You're coming back. So the biggest regret for everyone that decided to quit was selling their collection, because if you let the collection age for 10 years, there's always going to be tons of cards that are going to be worth a lot of money, because Wizards cannot reprint everything. And then cards that were like 50 cents are now like $20 because now they go into some format you couldn't imagine or think of back in the day. Like, think of bribery. I had a million briberies from the Masks block era, and they were bulk garbage. They were 50 cents. They were worthless. I swear, I just threw them away at some point. And now they're like 10. They were at like one point like $20, $25. Now they're like 10. I think they've reprinted it a little bit. But yeah, you never know. You never know. So you don't sell your cards. You don't throw away the cards. You keep every single card that you ever possibly own. So yeah, crazy. I own some Force of Wills back in the day. It was just all permission deck. That was my first deck. It was extended. I just play 100% permission. So okay, so maybe I can backtrack, go back to the normal non-super chat questions. The companions are Ender Meep says the companions are the worst because they make every deck way more expensive. That is like one of the biggest problems with companions that I think people are hating, is that, I mean, if you want to use Mishra's Bauble, especially online, remember, online price, people, online price is $50 right now. And so at one point it was close to 70. So if you want to, you know, be competitive in Modern, you're like paying for it, and you're paying through the nose. I mean, that like blows the budget out of like a lot of people's what's it called, borrowing accounts from like Mana Traders and Card Hoarder and so on. We can't forget the coffee. This is coffee and Nikachu, or sorry, coffee and MTG with Nikachu, so we got to have the coffee involved. Let me know what you're drinking. If you drink coffee, drinking tea, maybe some people are drinking booze at this time of day, I don't know. Whatever floats your boat at home. So yeah, it makes decks more expensive, and that's why I think like people are a little bit more outraged about the companions right now over say Oko in the past, because now people are a little bit more like financially stressed because of the coronavirus. And so like people don't want to automatically just blow $200 on, you know, Mishra's Bauble. And the price is like rising a little bit on paper. I think it's gone up to $15, but like it hasn't exploded because we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, these cards can easily get banned. Something's getting banned. So it's like, is it Mishra's Bauble? Is it Lurrus? Is it both? It shouldn't be both. I have to say, if they ban Mishra's Bauble, if Lurrus is still a problem, they have to unban Mishra's Bauble. Mishra's Bauble is, I know it breaks a lot of rules, but right now I think it's in a fine, good place in Modern, and it's not time for Mishra's Bauble to go. Max Tolv says, not a fan of needing Lurrus and Bauble for burn. I mean, we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat together. We're all in the boat. We don't want to buy the damn Lurrus and the Bauble. Companions are the worst. And Endermeep says, yeah, because Endermeep says it because it's expensive. Are there any other Ikoria cards, or cards in Ikoria that are seeing Modern play? Says Gavin Stewart. So the companions are seeing play. Oh, I can't think off the top of my head what is seeing. Oh, the Ozolith. The Ozolith for Hardened Scales Affinity brought life back to Hardened Scales. Because like I said, when they ban things like Mox Opal, that's okay, because the rest of the core of the deck is still there. It'd be totally different if they banned, say, Hangerback Walker, or Walking Ballista, or missing core cards here. All the affinity cards, like I'm missing Steel Overseer and what? Ravager, Arcbound Ravager. So if they ban those cards, that's a big deal for Hardened Scales Affinity. The deck is the creatures, not the fast mana. And now the Ozolith is just a card that goes in that place, which helps the synergy of Hardened Scales Affinity. Because what happens is when a creature leaves the battlefield, you put the counters on the Ozolith, which is an artifact for 1 mana, really good in the deck. And then at your beginning of combat step, you can move those counters to a creature. And I mean, you go nuts. So that's a card that's doing really well in Hardened Scales Affinity. So that's another card. Oh, how do I feel about the flash ban, says FNG MTG. I think it's a good, you're talking about Commander. I think that's a good ban. because Commander is more than just apparently a casual format. The competitive players play it, and I mean, if the casual crowd ends up like playing these stupid flash decks, then I mean that's not good. I mean you have to police the deck a little bit, and they have to adjust. I think competitive Commander is a lot bigger than I think the Commander community would like to think, and they should either accommodate them a little bit, or I think the competitive Commander scene should break off and make their own rules, because I think they should know how to police their own format better. If the rules community are not going to police the format, it's like it's a clear format. I mean, competitive Commander is a very serious thing. So I think the flash ban is good. Bart Lauder, welcome to the chat. Welcome to Coffee with Nikachu, Coffee and MTG. What else do we have? How much would it cost to build historic Merfolk if you don't want to grind? That's a good question. I don't know, maybe somewhere between $50 and $100. It's not using too many rares. It's using some mythics though. I can't say because I didn't buy it. I didn't buy much. I already had a bunch of wild cards. I bought Mono Blue Tempo when I first started playing on Historic. I would like to say, I mean, if someone has a good answer for Tenacious Scholar, I would love to hear it, what you think it would cost. Okay, so someone says somewhere between $50 to $100 worth of gems and games in there with the answers, so that's good. So that I think that sounds about reasonable, I would think. It's really fun. It's like super fun. I've got lists on, and we got Omori. We can play a companion in Historic Merfolk. That's pretty good because most of the historic decks cannot play a companion. So that's a huge plus to us that the rest of them don't get. That is why he loves the octopus, says Zinnik. That's too bad for the octopus. Like, the companions totally stole the show for that octopus. I'm still interested in playtesting the octopus in Spirits and Pioneer, but still, I have no computer yet, so we gotta wait on that. So Andrew Schultz says, where can I buy that mug that you were using in the thumbnail? I need it. You can find it, you should be able to find links to all that. It's from Teespring. Should be either like right below the videos of any of my random videos. There should be like Teespring merch, and you can scroll through and find one of these mugs. They're available on Teespring. Nikachu merch, official Nikachu merch. Look at this. Okay, so this came from Teespring, and I have to say, like if you look at the print quality, it's not great, to be honest. It's not the best. And maybe I used the wrong colors. Maybe I used some wrong formatting colors, and I have to fix that. But I have to say, this has been through the wash a million times, and it has not faded. Nothing has changed. It's like permanently there. So I'm very impressed by the durability of the Teespring merch. I'm very impressed with the durability of the Teespring merch. Daniel says, do you prefer splashing black or white in the last Merfolk tests? White. I do prefer white way more. I know there's a lot of people, they're waiting for black to become a thing. They want to play with like Unearth and Fatal Push and Thoughtseize and Mire Triton. But fact of the matter is, the life matters a lot right now in today's modern metagame because of Burn. Burn is really popular. It's like super popular. It's too popular to ignore. And the fact that you shock yourself and fetch more often with the black splash than with the white splash, because with white we got Wanderwine Hub, and I think we have better hosing cards in that build because of Hushbringer. We can play Hushbringer and just shut off humans. So I like white a lot more. Yeah, for me, it's clear to go to white. Black would be a little bit more interesting if Burn was not in the equation. And all I was using black for was for the Mire Triton, which I like. I think it's good. I really like it. I really like that card. Very strong, gaining life. You got this creature on the battlefield your opponent cannot attack into, so it's great. Gavin Stewart, you should stream a Modern League. Well, I will be streaming Modern Leagues when I get my new computer. Right now, all I have to work with is my phone and my iPad, and I can't stream much on those. This is all I can do for now. This is all we can do. Thoughts on Spell Pierce right now? Very poor. Spell Pierce is getting worse and worse by like the set. Spell Pierce cannot hit any of the creatures, and we're seeing more and more powerful creatures enter the game. Things like Lurrus, things like Uro. So it like so the companions you can't Spell Pierce, and not to mention like a lot of stuff is really mana efficient. So I'm not a huge fan of Spell Pierce right now. I don't know at what point the Spell Pierce is going to come back into position, but right now I'm much more heavier on things like Chalice of the Void, which don't require us holding up mana once we've cast it, Force Negation, and Deprive. Those are my go-to counter spells at the moment for Modern. Not high on Spell Pierce at the moment, because like all the matchups that you want it for, like even Burn is playing with more lands than they used to because they're now playing with the Horizon lands. I just can't justify playing the Spell Pierce at the moment. Yes, Jaskinia. Oh no, this is Polish for sure. Yeah, Jaskinia Maustwa. What would be your dream next breakout Merfolk card? A 1-drop Champion of the Parish, or we have, so like I keep saying this, and maybe I got to be vocal so that Wizards of the Coast at some point hears it through either me or somebody else. We need a powerful 1-drop. All right, our 1-drops suck. Benthic Biomancer is not good. It is just barely playable. Though I would say it's not playable. It's just the best 1-drop that we have for a mono blue build of Merfolk. And Kumena Speaker is like good enough. It's good enough. It like reaches the bar of playable, but is not good. I mean, it's like, it's not Mausoleum Wanderer good. It's not Champion of the Parish good. It's not Noble Hierarch good. It's not Glistener Elf good. It's not Goblin Guide or Monastery Swiftspear or Soulscar Mage good. It is just like, is just good enough to be in the deck. But to take the deck over the top so that we can consistently get some turn 4 kills, maybe some turn 3 kills, we need a powerful 1-drop creature. Hell, if I was just discussing this, I don't know where on what social media, but if I were to make a companion, maybe the best companion is just a blue, 1 blue, a 2/3 Merfolk, and that's it. And the clause is all my creatures have to be Merfolk. That's the clause for this card. That would be my companion, so that we have like a decent 2/3 creature that's going to be a 3/4 creature after we get a Lord in play, and we have that every single game. We always have a 1-drop. Then we could just never play 1-drops in our deck. That would actually be very interesting. We would never have to build our deck with 1-drops because we always have this 1-drop from our companion slot. Tragic Cancer, hello. Ben Mason from the Proxied Vintage I've played with my friend. We've tested a lot of decks, Ikoria, and I think the most grindy format. It is way more interactive than Modern, in my opinion, but Modern is my favorite. Modern is still my favorite format. I mean, I love Modern. I'm never going to abandon Modern. Modern is hands down like, you know, the best of the best. It's the Cadillac. It's the Cadillac of Magic. It's, how do I put it? It's interactive without too much free stuff getting stupid. So my only problem with Vintage, sorry, not Vintage, Legacy, I want to talk Legacy, is that Force of Will sort of cheats on interaction. So there's no decision making about whether you like tap out, because you always have like Force of Will or Daze at the ready. But with Modern, it's much more difficult. There's this extra layer of decision making on whether you want to play your creature or you don't to hold up mana for counter magic. Because Force of Negation is a great card for the format, but it only works on your opponent's turn, doesn't work on your own. So in a lot of ways, I actually think Legacy has a little bit less decision making, at least for the blue mage, because you get to cheat with Force of Will. You like always got that free counter spell whenever you want it, whereas in Modern you have to think twice, thrice about playing your cards, because tapping your mana has a big cost in this format. So it's the mana resource in Modern is more nuanced than in Legacy. Will I try Sea Dasher Octopus, says Michael. I would like to try it in Pioneer Spirits. I really would like to try it there. I think it would be really cool. I think it'd be cool there. Do you think Sea Dasher Octopus can be played in Simic Merfolk? Probably not. I don't think that's a Simic Merfolk card. Simic Merfolk is going to be more about beating the opponent down as quickly as possible, and I don't think Sea-Dash or Octopus does that. See, like, Sea-Dash or Octopus I see as for a card that's going to be for a version of Merfolk that wants to drag into the long game. So, you know, we want to play for turn 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to play that Sea-Dash or Octopus late, start drawing cards, and then really, you know, like run away with the game at that point in card advantage. Whereas with Simic Merfolk is much more on the side of trying to win as soon as possible. It's the more proactive version of Merfolk, and it's basically for the versions of Merfolk that you want to... Yeah, you have to win as soon as possible. You're not trying to grind value over the long run. And another cool thing is in the versions of Merfolk where we're playing very slowly, that's where Master of Waves is also very good to stabilize the board and try to win in the long game. And Sea-Dash or Octopus has that devotion to help with Master of Waves. If Companions didn't exist, I'd have high hopes for Sea-Dasher. That's true, actually. Sea-Dash would be better. How good is Grafdigger's Cage against the meta right now, says Gavin? It is good. I think it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I'm reaching for Rest in Peace, but it's okay. It's good. I would say it's playable, especially since Neoform is a pretty big deck right now. And like, I don't think it's unreasonable to bring it in against an Uro deck to shut down like Uro and Snapcaster Mage. Not to mention like anything. Does it stop other permanents? Or is it just creatures? I can't remember how it's worded. Whatever, I have to look at it. Zach says, love seeing the gameplay, but want to see more arena. We're gonna see more arena. Oh, I mean, I'm going straight to Mythic on arena with our historic Merfolk deck. And if people don't think that is a serious deck in the meta, I'm going to make them change their minds. All right, that deck is very serious. I have a very high win rate. I just crush people with it. I'm very excited to go all the way to the top with this deck. And I think blue and green have enough tools available that we have a lot of room to improve the deck as we start moving up the ladder. Like, I mean, it's not impossible to play something like Uro or Hydroid Krasis in the Simic Merfolk deck in Historic, because I mean they're available, and if the meta at some point up the ladder is going to be good for it, that's just what we're going to do. So in terms of things that people are drinking, Andre has black tea, Max has whiskey here. Okay, that's fine. Johan has water. He's one of the more sane people. Madcap skills. Any plans for Legacy Merfolk again? Not maybe one league with that new reality shift. I think it's called Reality Shift, and Thassa's Oracle combo. But I have no intentions of going like super deep into Legacy. In that coffee mood since I'm in competitive right now. That's right, says Chad. So I start drinking at 1 p.m. Well, everyone's evening is different for everybody. Lunchtime in Brazil having a Coke. Sweet, I'm a huge fan of Coke. I mean, I tried to buy Coke from this gas station, but they were sold out. And then I get a deal, two 2-liter Cokes for $5, and they were out. They were out. So they had Pepsi. So I take the Pepsi to the cash register, and it cost $8 for 2 Pepsi. And I'm like, I'm not paying $8 when I know I can get Coke for $5. I guess I'm being nitpicky here, but the thing is, I don't even want the Pepsis. Honestly, I want the Coke. Let me know if you're a Coke or Pepsi fan. I was all Pepsi up until the age of 22, and at some point, like, dumped it for Coke, and I haven't looked back. Frankly, I think I'm gonna die on Coke. Wolf Smasher, Mishra's Bauble has done nothing wrong. There's no way they banned Companions before the paper set is even out. No way. Well, I should look at the numbers on Modern, but I think last I checked them, the numbers for the leagues are pretty low. The numbers for the challenges are pretty high though. There are a lot of people playing competitive Modern right now. All the competitive tournaments are doing, I think, reasonably well. The last time I looked, or maybe it was before. Maybe it was because Companion Kit just came out and everyone was excited for it. Bobble just got a paper reprint in Mystery Boosters, so that's why its increase has lag. Oh yeah, okay, that's true. Yeah, online it might not have been as the price might not have caught up at all yet. So Zach is on Nespresso. I'm on what's it called? I think it's this Nescafe Gold stuff. It's a pretty good instant coffee, I must say. I enjoy it very much. Enough that I like it better than like the coffee bean stuff. I'm still at work and I drink coffee as well, from Michael in Germany. Filippo, hi master. Hello. Hello Filippo. Let's see. Nikachu, do you play EDH? Asks Monster. No, because I just don't have a play group. I would be into, I'll tell you what I would like. I would like one-on-one commander, competitive one-on-one commander. I would have no problem with that. I would like to see that more popular in competitive Magic. I like the idea of I like the idea of a singleton format because it will make the gameplay more varied, more variety. It would put less pressure on the price of cards because you only need to own one, you don't need to own four. It would also, I think, reduce the need to ban anything because there's a lot of cards that are very powerful in 4-ofs but are like not that big of a deal as a 1-of. Like, for example, if a Splinter Twin deck could only use Kiki Jiki and Splinter Twin as their combo pieces, would you still ban Splinter Twin? No, you wouldn't, because it wouldn't be that big of a deal. You're only drawing like 1 out of 60 cards, and you'd have to try harder to find that 60th card. So I actually really like the idea of a singleton format, but I wanted to see it. I only want to play formats that are supported by Wizards. Like, they're going to make a GP out of this. They're going to make, there's going to be like serious side events, PTQs, Pro Tours on this format that I want to prepare for. I want to be valuable to my viewers by giving information and strategy on that because everyone else is trying to get into those formats. So I would prefer it's a competitive format. But I am totally open to like singleton one-on-one commander. Like I said, I like the companion thing. I like it. I'm part of that 10% that likes this dynamic, this interesting addition. I know a lot of people aren't interested in it, but like a lot of people, like whatever, that's fine. You know, the companions are going to be banned. It's not for everybody, but I would like to get into something like that in competitive Magic somewhere, in some way or form. So I'm all for like what I think it's called Canadian Highlander, I believe. All right, so we got like a super chat. Dan W. Hey Nikachu, remind people about the OMA's MTG charity, a great cause, and we need a perfect merfolk for our deck. Okay, so if anyone, I don't know if you can drop links because they're probably going to get muted. But there is, I think if you look up OMA's MTG, there is a charity where if you make a donation, you are put in a raffle for Wizards will design a card that you make. So that is our best chance at getting this one-drop merfolk that we need. So if you Google this OMAZE MTG, I don't know what else you have to put in to find it, but hopefully you can find it. I've made a donation and hopefully I win. But if we don't win, but maybe as a community we can potentially win, and we're going to get the one-drop merfolk that we need. I have to say, it's the one drop that we need. We have tons of great stuff at 2 mana, at 3 mana, at 4 mana. We don't need anything else. Maybe the only other thing I would want is like a blue merfolk land that, like, you know, it's like Mutavault. It doesn't come to play tapped and it can attack for something later down the road. And that would help fix our mana a lot instead of playing this colorless thing. But that would be the only other thing I could think of that we need for the deck. But the only thing that we're lacking right now is the one drop. But when we get the one drop, Modern will fear Merfolk big time, because that's the only thing. Like, Merfolk starts playing the game at turn 2, and that's a bit slow for Modern. That's why we have to play like extra carefully, because all our opponents get ahead of the game before us, and we're always in like this catch-up mode. So it's very hard. We can't just like try to race them. We're always trying to stabilize, then turn the corner against them. What else do we got here? Okay, so Van Wright says E-Tron just better than G-Tron in this meta because of Chalice of the Void. Yeah, I agree. Van Wright says, you know, hey, Eldrazi-Tron is doing good. I think it should be doing good. I don't know why there's not more results. I think Eldrazi-Tron is the best Chalice of the Void deck right now, and I don't know why we don't see more Eldrazi-Tron. Maybe the Eldrazi-Tron players are just like, I don't know, like they what's it called, maybe they're just like, you know, these other companion decks are so strong that why would I choose to play Eldrazi-tron at the moment, not realizing the power, the raw power of Eldrazi-tron. Oh, Day 2 Dryden is in the chat right here. Here, we got another super chat. I don't think there's a question attached to it, from Eric Westland. Thank you very much, Eric. Thank you very much for the super chat. Also, thank you very much for the super chat from Dan W. Where am I here with the... Oh, here we go. So who's getting the hammer in Modern, Lurrus or Bauble? It's hard to tell. It's one of those, obviously. So Samael said, yeah, who's getting the hammer? It's just impossible to tell because we don't have the data that Wizards of the Coast does. If their data says that in every game where Mishra's Bauble got replayed from the graveyard, the win rate was super high, and in all games with Lurrus that Mishra's Bauble did not get played from the graveyard, the win rate was like, you know, fine, then they might ban Bauble. If it just shows that, you know, if Lurrus is played regardless of what happens with Mishra's Bauble in the game, that the win rate is super high and it's taken over the metagame, then maybe they're going to, maybe they'll ban Lurrus. Because, like, as we actually see from, as time has passed, not banning anything from Dimir Inverter and Pioneer was the correct move. Wizards of the Coast data said that Dimir Inverter is losing. Like, it's not even, it's barely breaking even. And as time went on, people eventually just gave up on the deck, and now it's sort of being reflected in that way in the Pioneer metagame. So Dimir Inverter wasn't worth its weight in gold. Like, I mean, I still believe Dig Through Time is going to get banned eventually, and probably should just be banned automatically, because the point of safe Dig Through Time and broken Dig Through Time, that area in between, like that, where is it when it becomes broken? Like, at what point? Is it here? Is it here? And it's going to be really frustrating determining that point where it's gone too far. I mean, maybe it's just one more deck is going to come out and just completely break the card, and we very obviously see that we have to ban the card, but it's like sort of an icky card to leave legal. That being said, Dimir Inverter is not taking over like Pioneer anymore. It's like Mono White Devotion, a lot of other archetypes that are stepping up to the plate. So if Wizards gonna act on their data, I think. They might not. They might just ban Lurrus because everyone just hates the companions and they have to, like, you know, give in to like popular opinion. But like what I'm just trying to say is I don't know what they're gonna do, but it's gonna be one of those two cards. For sure, it's gonna be one of those two cards. Poncho asks, hi Nikachu, do you think Simic Merfolk is in the bad meta right now? I don't think so. Like I said, I would love to try Simic Merfolk in today's modern metagame. I'm going to play test it when my brother and I are trying to get his laptop to stream Magic the Gathering Online. We've had huge problems. We have determined we cannot stream Arena on his 7-year-old laptop. He was very proud of his graphics card, but unfortunately it cannot handle the power of MTG Arena. But we're hoping that we can get Magic the Gathering Online to work, but it requires a little bit more troubleshooting and some cords for a monitor. I don't want to get into too many details, but basically we're having a lot of problems streaming it. But if we can, we're going to look at Simic Merfolk without a companion in today's modern metagame. I think it has a shot. Leo asked, do you think you're going to be... Where was I? I think I'm very far off. Oh, I'm getting close. Yeah, so many people. Wow, yeah, we're doing pretty good. We're at like 120. If I can average this on Twitch, we're getting to partner in no time. This is no time flat. I heard it's hard to get to partner, but you're not going to get the same notifications on Twitch like you do on YouTube. Just to poll everybody, you know, how many people watch Twitch? How many people like to watch? Maybe you like me because I am a YouTuber, so maybe there are more people who like to watch the replays than watch it live. Let me know what you think about live play versus streaming. That would be very interesting. I'd love to know. Sorry, not like live, recorded play versus streaming stuff. But like, you know, Twitch streaming is in the works for the future, that's for sure. If anyone was very curious about that, we are definitely moving in that direction. What do you think separates a really good MTG charity, a great cause, and we need a... Oh yeah, remind people. Oh yeah, we did that, Dan. We have done that. So I have. Oh, the Cody Hope says I have a Nikachu and it's great. I wear it for tournaments. Awesome, beautiful. Do you think Wizards will ban? We talked about that. Okay, here we go. Cody Hope says Hushbringer is an awesome card. It is, because it will snap win against all of the... It will snap destroy all the humans players. Like if you have a Hushbringer in play, which says when creatures enter the battlefield or leave, abilities don't trigger, you basically play the Hushbringer and the game is over. I mean, they basically need a million Mantris Riders in order to win the game. And even then we can like interact with them a little bit. Antoine says, I always wondered, what is that black creature on some of your stuff / merch / logos that says winner? I guess that's the white creature on your shirt. It's a rabbit, but that black one is a mystery for one. Oh, what is that creature's name? It's not an anteater. So I got that, he's talking about my winner shirt, and the winner shirt came from Taiwan. And it was the shirt that I used to make the top 8 in the finals of Grand Prix Vancouver with Merfolk. I don't remember what it's called, though. No, it's not an aardvark, Andrew. It's not an aardvark. It's like a weird animal that you would never know existed. A tapir, that's right, the tapir. My brother in the chat, he knows what it is. It's called a tapir, T-A-P-I-R. And if you look at it, like on the shirt, it looks like he's wearing a diaper, but really that's his body. I mean, it's like pure white at his stomach and on his butt. And apparently, like I don't know, the scientists say that it is a means of camouflaging it from predators. It acts like a rock, as stupid as that sounds. Is Burn so popular because of the cost to entry as well as how easy it is to play? Yes, both of those. So Burn doesn't have to upgrade anything except add Lurrus and Mishra's Bauble, and boom, they're good to go, and the strategy is identical. They change almost nothing. I mean, some decks play Seal of Fire, but basically it's easy to upgrade. The gameplay is fast and proactive, and so and Burn is already a pretty common deck. So Burn is a huge winner with the Lurrus package. And it's been like 2 weeks and people are still losing to Burn. I mean, it's still showing up in big numbers in big events. Despite the fact that Lurrus has lifelink, there's Uro decks out there. I don't know, not enough people are playing Core Firewalker or Leyline of Sanctity. People are just not respecting the Burn deck. Or, I don't know, or they are respecting it and Burn is just too strong. Like Lurrus into Goblin Guide sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. Kaya Orzhov Usurper is great in this meta. It gives life gain, exiles graveyard cards, and removes low-cost threats, says Tenacious. Grixis Gaming asks, Nikachu, do you see any chance that any decks that aren't just super value decks have a place in Modern anymore, like 8-Rack, Living End? So something like 8-Rack is possible. It just requires the right deck builder. We've seen Tom Ross make that deck make top 8 several times. So it just... Like 8-Rack has everything available to become really good, and it just needs the right pilot. Now, Living End is more tricky because the problem is Living End is a hyper graveyard-oriented deck, and the problem with that is you're in the shadow of Dredge. So if you are going to play a graveyard-oriented deck, you gotta ask yourself, can you beat the hate that is being hated on Dredge? And what angle of attack do you have that Dredge doesn't have? Because Dredge has like a lot of tools in their toolbox. I mean, they dump their whole graveyard into the, their whole library into their graveyard. They have access to things like Conflagrate, so they've got reach, they've got removal. They're like an aggro combo control deck. It's like they can do everything. And Living End has some benefits. It gets around Grafdigger's Cage, but I think that's it. Like all the other graveyard cards like nail it. One bonus is it can play at flash speed. And I do see some angles of attacks that Living End has that Dredge doesn't. You can play at flash speed and you can always threaten to just play creatures while you make your land drops. So it's got some interesting nuanced stuff there. But I guess the big problem for Living End, it would be a really big deck. It would be a bigger player in the metagame if Dredge didn't exist, because Dredge is like the graveyard deck at the moment. So like Living End needs to find a way of winning while dodging all the hate that Dredge gets. That would be my answer. Does it have a chance? Sure, but I don't know. The right mind has to be behind it. Dark Angel, do you think 5-color Niv Mizzet will still be playable if Astrolabe is banned? Of course. I think it was already a deck before Astrolabe was legal, so a 5-color Niv Mizzet absolutely will be a deck after if Astrolabe is banned. It will totally be playable. Do you think, and then the follow-up question from Daniel is, do you think Astrolabe will get banned eventually? Yeah, I think so. I don't know how long it's going to take. I think this is going to be a card like, it might be a card like, what's it called? It might be a card like Mox Opal, where it might be with us for like 4 years. It might be with us for a while. I don't think this is a card, it obviously doesn't need any snap ban. I know a lot of people hate the gameplay that's surrounding it, but I think it is in a good place right now. It's fine. I mean, they might ban it, but like they might ban it early, but I think they're gonna let it live for quite a while. We're gonna live in an era of Arkham's Astrolabe for quite a while, at least like another year. Like, this is my feeling, because it's not turning the format on its head, and it's introducing new archetypes that didn't exist before. Like, when was the last time we had Bant control in Modern? Like, it never happened. But because of Arkham's Astrolabe, this is now a possibility. Same thing with like Sultai control. Same thing with what else are we talking? Just Simic decks in general. Like, the only Simic deck that existed prior to Arkham's Astrolabe was basically Infect, and we don't really. That doesn't really count, right? So Astrolabe is helping the decks that I think would normally get wiped out by Blood Moon because they don't use red mana. Like, if you really look in the history of Modern, most of the decks that really existed, if they were playing more than one color, had red, so it had a fallback plan if they got Blood Mooned. Most of them. Like, Golgari didn't, but most of them. Or, like, you know, Blue-White Control basically, like, drew out all their basics before anything else. So... Joseph Sokolowski says, one drop with Flash ETB that grants hexproof to another merfolk. That would be super busted. That is Veil of Summer territory right there. Max Tolv says, Wizards seems to hate printing merfolk for the actual merfolk deck. That is very true. That is very true. We've got a deck, we've got a plan, and they keep printing merfolk for some different deck, for some different plan. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're printing this for us. We're crying for merfolk. Just give us what we want. They give us. I'll give them that. We've got a lot of good upgrades lately. We got Oko, Brazen Borrower, and Force of Negation. So I'm not going to complain too much. Not actual merfolk, but I'm not going to complain too much. Of course, Oko got banned, but nothing we could do about that. Historic versus Pioneer is going to be a thing in a year or 3. Yeah, Historic, like, Pioneer is going to come to Arena. It's on its way. So I don't have an EDH deck. What do you think is the most influential card in Modern right now? Ooh, that's a good question. It could be Arkham's Astrolabe. Because if you ban Arkham's Astrolabe, you're going to, like, just kill off a lot of like Uro Teferi decks. Or you get rid of, you put a huge hurt on Urza. You put a huge hurt on Urza. Like, the thing is, Arkham's Astrolabe prevents Blood Moon from being good, which therefore enables a lot of archetypes that wouldn't normally be enabled. Like, people don't even play with things like Tectonic Edge anymore. Like, Tectonic Edge used to be a staple, you know? So... Oh, I love my coffee cold too. I'm a sipper. I don't drink a whole lot. We still have plenty of coffee in the bin. Whoa! Shit, I am stupid. I want to show everyone my coffee, so instead of showing the instead of like just lifting the camera up, I spill my precious coffee. Whatever. I'm gonna make one boneheaded decision a day. Blah. Now I have less coffee to work with. I'm still doing good. I'm still doing good. That's why I sip. So I think Arkham's Astrolabe is like a big player in Modern right now. Bends the format around it. Let's see. Historic is better than Pioneer, says Jorg. That's possible. I mean, that's a matter of opinion. I mean, I like Historic a lot. I think it's really cool. It's really fun. And not many decks can play Companions. So if you don't like Companions, you go to Historic. Because that's where... I mean, there are some Companions. I see some Control decks playing with some Companions. But I think it's just to have a random creature in their deck. Cody Hope says, I just want one more Lord for Pioneer. I love Pioneer Fish, and I want it to be top 8able again. That's true. So, like, in Pioneer, we're just missing one Lord. That's all it takes. I mean, it's the same thing like with Spirits. The Spirits only exists in Pioneer because they have 2 Lords. So, if we get one more Lord for Pioneer for Merfolk, Merfolk has a chance, especially if it can interact or at least can break through damage. Like, Merfolk Sovereign would not be too bad, because Merfolk Sovereign can give unblockable to a creature until end of turn. So that's a way of pushing through damage. What turn do you think we will have limited stacks locks in Core 21, seeing as Teferi is its main man? I have no idea what you're asking, Leo Olson. What turn do you think we will have limited stacks locks? Not sure. Maybe he's referencing, what's it called? EDH in some way. When are you going to make more historic content? I want to see the companion for Merfolk in action. Jorg Yarza asks, we're gonna have all the gameplay when I get my new computer. So I'm gonna talk to and by the way, I've been contacted by 2 very good hardware grandmasters. So it looks like I have a good computer in the works. I just have to get it built. I need it made. I can't put together a computer. I'm not going to put a computer together. That's not happening. It's absolutely not happening. Not putting together a computer. I'm not that much into computers. I very lightly know what the components do, but beyond that, I don't know what else. I don't know how to put it together or anything like that. Oh, we got a super chat. Where is our super chats? Holy crap, I'm falling behind on the questions. I'm a mono blue. So Grix is gaming. I'm a mono Bluetron player. It's a tough life. Is it? Is it that bad? I mean, I think mono Bluetron is a very interesting archetype in that it's played by very few people, but always gets consistent results. I mean, Shock Troopa, all the credit to him. He continues to put up results with mono Bluetron. Is there any some way I can get rid of? I want to get rid of some background. Make this look as flat as possible. Look, we got this corner up here. I don't know, it's distracting me. It's distracting me. I should get another light, but it's all good. All right, let's see if we can just plow through some of these questions. We're gonna plow. How critical is it to have War of the Spark Teferi for blue-white control? It's probably not that critical. I mean, it's just a good value card. Like, it dies most of the time. It's just one of the most annoying cards in the game. That's the problem with Teferi, is it's not actually a bannable card. Teferi Time Reveler is like, I'm assuming, yeah, War of the Spark Teferi. It is like, it's a super annoying card, but it's garbage. Like, it won't win. It can't win the game by itself. It just shuts down some strategies if you play at instant speed. But I think they could live without it. I think they could certainly do without it. The Blue-White Control was already doing very well before Teferi Time Reveler was printed, so I think they could live without it. I think it would be a huge blow if they banned Hero of Dominaria, because that's the planeswalker that will win the game if you do not kill that thing, and it's way easier to protect. It creates extra mana, it creates card advantage. It's basically the card that just creates more resources out of thin air. It's ridiculous, just absolutely ridiculous. So if they banned Hero of Dominaria, that would be a huge blow. Huge blow. Can we unprint Teferi Time Raveler somehow, says Lord Magicus? I mean, I would like to... The top 5 cards I wish never existed. Teferi Time Reveler, Walking Ballista, maybe Vizier of Remedies. What else? What are 2 cards? There's like these cards that they just can't, they can't really ban them, but they're so annoying. For some people, maybe it's Arkham's Astrolabe, I don't know. Kelvin Liu Huang asks, how come I don't see companions in historic tournament finishes? They're in 70% or more decks in every other format. Because it's hard to build around them. You know, in historic, the card pool does not seem to be large enough to utilize them. All right, I guess what it is people have not discovered companion archetypes. Or I don't know if that's true either. Like in Modern, it was so easy to slot or adjust current archetypes for the companions, but it's not true at all in Historic. Like if you look at the mono white life gain deck, if you want to play Lurrus, then that means you're not playing with Heliod, you're not playing with that 4-mana, oh no, you can play the 4-mana enchantment. No, you can't. That's a permanent. There's like this 4-mana convoke, exile target creature enchantment. Like you got like a ton of the good cards in that deck, and then there's the red-green aggro deck. They cannot play any of the cards because they can't play any companion because they want to play with Embercleave. So if you play with Embercleave, you can't play any companions. So it's very hard for them to use the companions in any of the current archetypes in what's it called, in Historic. Oh, Mark's just said Plague Engineer. Absolutely, yeah. That's a card that we could see go away. That was a stupid card to print. It was like to put humans in check, but like there's got to be some better way of putting humans in check. Like just more of that, better cards that stop enter the battlefield effects. I think that would have been the right move. Like a stronger Hushbringer, for example. Not this like wipe out tribal stuff. Like it puts a huge hurt on merfolk, elves, goblins, fairies. Like what a stupid card Plague Engineer was. That was a huge stupid mistake. The Cody Hope says, I'm a huge fan of Coke. Nikachu in 2020. Oh, we got a lot of Coke fans here. I'm a huge Coke fan. I know we need raw power, a merfolk of the parish, but what do you think of if Wizards of the Coast gives us a new curse catcher, strong as Mausoleum Wanderer, says JNF, or JNF first. By the way, Fish always gets/has compared nerfed cards. That's right. So we always have like the weaker version of other stuff. If we had a Mausoleum Wanderer, that would be perfect. That would be perfect. If it had like it was something to the effect of unblockable, and it got +1/+1 until end of turn when you attacked with it, or sorry, it got +1/+1 when you played a creature and entered the battlefield. Beautiful. I would love a Mausoleum Wanderer. I would take it in a heartbeat. It might even be better than Champion of the Parish. Thing is, Curse Catcher would be good if it could just actually counter spells, but spells are so mana efficient these days. And Curse Catcher is just getting narrow. I mean, you can't counter any of the Planeswalkers. You can't counter like Time Raveler, Narset, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Hero of Dominaria. You can't counter Uro. You can't counter Snapcaster Mage. So Curse Catcher is useless right now. And the spells are too mana efficient. But if we had a Mausoleum Wanderer, it would totally change everything. Matt says, do you think the wacky and broken state of Standard will push people into trying older formats like Modern? I don't know. I don't think so, because I think Modern is also in a wacky state. But I will say this. Now's the time to get into Modern. If you have any intention of playing Modern, say 1 or 2 years from now, right now all the cards are on sale. Like everyone's selling, everyone needs to make money. And so if you've got the cash and you are on the fence of getting, or you're interested in, if you're interested in getting in Modern in the future, now's the time to buy in, because in the future the prices will go up in the future. But right now, I mean, you can make your move maybe later. Like I don't think the cards are going to spike back immediately, but just keep in mind that card prices are trending downwards and the average cost of a Modern deck is collapsing. So if anyone's interested in getting into Modern, like I would consider getting into it between now and a few months for paper, because everything's starting to get pretty affordable. Pepsi is sweeter, so it wins the sip test. Coke is lower in sugar, so it's more palatable over a long period of time. Interesting, says Gamebox. Interesting. Make this place ignite. Umezawa's GT got banned fast too. Yeah, well, I'm gonna make a video about Umezawa's GT. Maybe that's gonna come out today. Maybe it's gonna come out today. Emil says he picked up 4 Nearman Bitter Blossoms for $80. Yes. right now things are on sale. Things are on sale. If you got money, now is the time to get into Modern. You complaining that the fetch lands are too expensive? They're on sale. So the power level of Standard right now seems so high. It probably is. I don't play Standard. I'm not the thing about Standard that I don't like is that you really have to be grinding it often because it's changing all the time. Whereas Modern, like, okay, everyone gets to play with Lurrus, but the decks are basically the same, all right? If I'm up against Death Shadow, I've already played against Death Shadow for 3 years. I've got a lot of experience and knowledge that still applies to even the Lurrus Death Shadow deck. Same thing with Burn, same thing with Jund, same thing with Blue-White Control, same thing with like Wurza. Like all these decks that are adding new cards, like my experience still counts, so I don't have to grind constantly and constantly and constantly. But when when a new set comes out in Standard, it can like wash away all the old archetypes and you're back from ground zero and you have to relearn the format all over again. I'm not a huge fan of that, where if you like take a break and you're like, you don't know what's going on. What the hell is going on in this format? Nikachu is a competitive player. That's right. I am a competitive player. I know it sounds like an oxymoron. Competitive player that plays Merfolk? Eric Westland again with the super chat. Super chats all day with Eric. Let's see what Eric has to ask. What would you like to see in a new Merfolk 1-drop? Ideally I want it to be big. I want it to be a creature that can get big and continuously get big in the long run. I want it to be. It doesn't have to be exactly like Champion of the Parish, but it needs to be as threatening as Champion of the Parish in that, like, there comes a point where this creature is like really large, it's really out of control, and like if you don't have a removal spell for it, you're in like a lot of trouble. So like that's ideally what I want in a 1-drop. I want more consistent turn 4 kills, like or sometimes turn 3 kills, depending how much life our opponent loses on their own. But that's what I'm looking for a 1-drop in Merfolk. Because like if you look at all the 1-drops for Merfolk, they're all 1/1 creatures. They're all 1/1 creatures, and that just doesn't cut it. Because if our lords die, then they only attack for 1. I want something that, even if the lord dies, it's still chipping away good chunks of damage. That's why Kumena Speaker, even as a 2/2, makes a huge difference for the deck. It's always, I've had so many games where I just won barely by a single extra damage, or just by perfect amount of damage because of Kumena Speaker. That wouldn't have happened if I was playing with Benthic Biomancer, Mist Caller, Curse Catcher, any of the other 1-drops. So that I'm looking for power. I honestly am not looking for interaction. I'll take it if it's really good interaction. But at the very least, the power has to be larger than usual. So that's why I say I would take a Mausoleum Wanderer sort of Merfolk, because it can interact, but also it gets bigger as I play creatures, and I think that I'd be fine with that. I'd totally be fine with that. So thank you very much again, Eric. Super chats all day. Thank you very much. All super chats go directly to buying 2 Cokes for $5. Dryad Arbor, but it's a Merfolk. Okay, I have no idea where I left off, so I'm just gonna have to just pick up from some random place. Are you still playing Spirits and Pioneer? Yes, good question. Call of Duty 1. Yes, so long as I can get to Pioneer. When I was getting busy with school, I could not play. I was just basically playing Modern Merfolk because that's the only time I had for it. And now I'm out of school. I have all the time in the world. All the time in the world to do these like live chats, and no computer. Where's my computer? I need a computer. So computer's super dangerously swollen, more swollen than Simic Merfolk. The battery is really swollen. But if I had the time, I would be playing Merfolk and Historic, Merfolk and Modern, and Spirits and Pioneer. And I'd be very interested to know, can we fit a companion in there? I know we can play with Gigantha in the Bant version, and we can also. I would like to squeeze in that octopus. I would like to know how much that octopus would change things. So Day 2 Dryden's in the chat. Hello, Day 2 Dryden. Gamebox asks, Nikachu, what do you think that separates a really good player from someone who just plays a lot? So really good players, they are trying to dissect the game, and they're learners. They ask the right questions from stronger players. That's for sure. Like a great example. I have a lot of I see a lot of good things coming from Cody Hope in the chat. He asks a lot of really good strategic questions, because the thing is, you have to learn from this game, and you got to probe good players the right questions, good strategic questions, to help you better understand the game overall, and then you apply that to your practice. If you just, because the thing is, Magic is in a weird spot compared to, say, poker or chess. When I learned poker, when I learned chess, there are books, there's theory on those games that you can learn, and then you apply it to actually playing the game, and then you can from there you can get feedback either through reflection afterwards, or for what's it called? Or you can ask like coaches or someone better than you to look over your chess game, or look over the poker hands that you played. We don't got that with Magic. We don't have like a really good robust book about the game, or a good collection of information on Magic the Gathering that you can study and then apply in the real world. It's mostly like deck tech, sideboard guides, but that's only like one small sliver of a factor in. It's only one sliver of a factor in when it comes to Magic theory. There's a slew of other things that you have to think about. Like, for example, like I've been telling some of my patrons, if we talk about the 4 core advantages to Magic, there are 4 core advantages, and one of them is experience, which we've talked about, which is the playtesting. When you playtest your deck, playtest it against current decks in the metagame, that's one advantage. Now, the second advantage is your deck, basically your deck choice. Another, is it a powerful deck? Is it a control deck? Is it like there's a reason tier 1 decks win more often than the tier 3 decks. So deck choice is a big or your deck is a determining advantage in Magic the Gathering. A third advantage is metagame. So maybe you can play a tier 2 deck because it's well positioned in the metagame right now, or because you've considered the metagame, you have adjusted your 75, whether it's a tier 1 or tier 2 deck, to accommodate that metagame. Now, the fourth one that is completely is probably the reason why so many people struggle competitively at this game, is the skill advantage. The most important advantage is the skill advantage. We're talking how well you mulligan, how well you sideboard, how well you use all the resources in the game, whether it's mana, cards, I don't want to say graveyard, because that's basically that's cards as a resource. Your life total, information. So there's a huge whopping section of skill, which is one of the most powerful advantages in Magic. It's actually the most important. In a vacuum, your deck choice is probably the thing that increases your win rate by the most, but the problem is playing a tier 1 deck doesn't automatically mean you win tournaments, because everyone else is playing with a tier 1 deck or a tier 2 deck to be at that comparative level. So the determining factor then is going to be your skill. That is going to be the most determining factor in a world where everyone chooses a good deck. And I know I'm supposed to make more videos about this. I have plans. I've got things scripted out, and maybe I'm going to have that stuff out coming over the next few weeks, because I said in my New Year's resolution I want to start teaching this game. So I have to get in on that, and we got to increase the skill advantage of everybody in this game. If you want to win at this game, you need to increase your skill advantage. That's probably the most important thing going on in 2020, and it's so free, because I think a lot of people still, like, the information in Magic is so fragmented all over the internet in like articles, and there's not a lot of evergreen articles, I would say, as well. But anyway, I hope that's I hope I answered the question. I personally got better because I reached out to, like, what separates a really good player from someone who just plays a lot? I reached out to better players and I asked them questions. That's basically what I did. And now I'm on my own, because I'm the only Merfolk master now. Well, I wouldn't say I'm the only Merfolk master in existence, but I used to ask questions from other Merfolk masters. So Gamebox, Nikachu, what do you think separate... Oh no, we got that. I play Kumana, Tyrant of Rusk, and EDH. Yes, it is. Simic is good. Although I have to say, if I play EDH, Thassa would be my commander because I like the consistency. I like the consistency. Where is the burn content? We gotta go check out Day 2 Dryden's channel. And he hasn't updated in a while. He's gonna get around to it. I have a feeling he's gonna get around to it. Gruul seems to be the new raw power deck. Yes, I would say so, especially in Historic. Day 2 Dryden, we missed the content. Best of luck. Says Cody Hope. Joseph, will your brother come on camera? No, he will not. He's going to be obscured in mystery. I mean, I guess it's up to him, but it's more fun when he's never seen. He hasn't cut his hair in like half a year, so I think he wants to get a haircut first before he does that anyway. Let's see. Nikachu, why do you want Splinter Twin to be unbanned? So Graham Drake asked me about Splinter Twin. I don't necessarily want it to be unbanned, but I know that there's always been discussion around Splinter Twin, whether it should be unbanned, whether it should stay banned. And I just made like a series of videos to just take both sides to tell you what, because I feel like people just oversimplify Splinter Twin. The arguments are just grossly oversimplified. Fact of the matter is, like, Modern did explode when Splinter Twin got banned, but now Modern has so many more tools that I think you could unban it, but I don't know if that is still a good thing. It is still pretty miserable to play against Splinter Twin. There's still a lot of like really feel bad games where you have to tap out against it. And the thing is, Splinter Twin is fair at a casual level, where people make a lot of mistakes, but Splinter Twin is just deadly at a competitive level. Like, those good Splinter Twin players just really rip you apart. At the same time, it was having the most trouble against Jund, and Death Shadow would probably take its place. Like, Death Shadow today is the new Jund, and like what's it called? Like, Thoughtseize will put a huge hurt on it. So I think Splinter Twin, my final verdict, I never made a video on it, but my final verdict is Splinter Twin is safe to unban, but for community reasons, I don't know if you want to. So that's I don't think Modern could stomach Splinter Twin in the past. It was overpowered, but I think it can now, but I don't know. I still don't know if it's the right thing to do. Maybe there's got to be a poll. Should we unban Splinter Twin? And if it's as bad as Oko, where half the people don't want Splinter Twin unbanned, then goodbye, Splinter Twin. It's never coming back. Tenacious Scholar, you can stream Paper Magic. That's actually true. I can. I could stream Paper Magic. Who needs a partner when you have a companion? That's right. Oh yeah, so we have YouTube over Twitch. Love them alerts. Jeez, I asked this question an hour ago. But who wants Twitch? Who wants YouTube? I mean, we're still always going to do YouTube, but I can definitely mix in more Twitch. So a lot of people do watch Twitch, so that's good news. I need all of you over there so I can get to partner. Get those live streams going up. Recording is so much easier. There's a reason why live TV is dying. It is true. Like, streaming on Twitch is difficult because you are locked in there. You are somewhat in a cage to stream all the time. Whereas when it comes to YouTube, I'm telling you, if I stream Twitch, we are taking breaks. Like, if I play we play one match, we're taking like a 10-minute break in between each match. I can't believe people who just grind. That's impossible. That's exhausting. I can't do that. You'll burn out after. I mean, I know I used to do that, but then at some point after the third match, you burn out really hard, and your fourth and fifth match sucks. So the glorious thing about recording in advance with YouTube is you don't get to see the dead weight downtime. And we can talk and chat in between the rounds. But I am most definitely not going super hardcore, match after match. That's just way too much. What do I see? Anime villain. Nikachu is the greatest of all time. I am. What's your Twitch tag? Nikachu MTG. It's Nikachu MTG. I've got like, I have almost 40 followers on Twitch, and I have not streamed a single thing. People just found me and they're like, we're gonna follow Nikachu. One day, and that one day is coming. So Dutch Radio says, cheers mate, have my first coffee of the day, spent all night trying to create infinite Kraken tokens, keep up the good work, thumbs up with the love from the Netherlands. Thank you much, Dutch Tech Radio. Awesome, cheers. Cheers from Canada. Cody Hope says, before I started working from home, I never watched Twitch. Now that I'm working from home and I'm not working on a set schedule, I find myself watching Twitch more. And also let me know, do you like music? Like, I have no, like, I don't know, like every single Twitch, almost every Twitch stream has music. And I wouldn't mind having music in the YouTube videos, but like people are like, no, don't do it. Don't put the music in, Nikachu. I'm like, okay, we're gonna back off. But like, you know, we can have some like chill music. Like my brother in the chat said, no music. He's a party pooper. No music. Look, wow. Wow, you're just all non-music. I guess the advantage is you can put your own music on. And if I have music on, then you can't put your own music on. All right. Ban Loris. Everyone wants to see Loris. Loris is a living hell. Get out of here. So what happened to the, Dane Joe, what happened to the death and taxes videos? I couldn't keep up doing that content. It was not, I definitely did not receive enough patron support for having the burn and death and taxes videos, and maybe it was just a bit awkward because I was like promoting Merfolk, but I couldn't promote death and taxes and burn very well. So I got them to splice off to do their own thing, both Day 2 Dryden and Jason Samard, the splicer. But he was very busy with life, so he couldn't keep up with the YouTube channel. And Day 2 Dryden did keep up with the YouTube channel, his own YouTube channel, but he also got busy in life recently because of university. But now he's not as busy, so maybe he's going to go back to it. We're going to wait and see. There is only 46 decks in the entire meta. Only! That's a lot. Okay, random question. That's okay, Poe1980. How big of an issue do you see cheating and angle shooting as in paper Magic tournaments? So that's a great question, and I've always meant to like talk about this in a real serious video. At the higher level, cheating is not a problem. At the lower level, cheating is rampant. And what I'm talking about is like in the X3 bracket, you are constantly facing cheaters. So cheating at the higher level is not that big. It's super overblown, over-exaggerated. Most of the cheating is just by accident. There is definitely like some cheating. I'm not saying there's no cheating at all, but it's like super like I like Wizards is going hard on the cheating. Like they gave they gave Watanabe a 2-year ban, and they removed his Hall of Fame status. They took away all his accolades, and that's the correct thing to do. So now, like, if you cheat, you're gonna get hit hard if you're a cheater, and everyone's gonna know you're a cheater. And like the punishment is now pretty strong, which is good, because before it was like, oh, you're just gonna get banned for 3 months. We don't get, and then you're back really soon. No, it shouldn't be like that. So at a high level, I don't really think it's that much, but it's like when the thing is, people who cheat are generally really bad at the game. Like, they cheat in all sorts of stupid ways. They look at your deck while they're shuffling it. They put in extra cards. They're ponies, basically. The most of the cheaters are ponies, basically. They switch their deck mid-event. I know, because I know people like this. But they they constantly lose. So it's not a problem because they're terrible. And, you know, if they switch their deck after they've lost 4 rounds in the GP, like, who are they hurting? They're not making day 2. They're not making prizes. They're probably still going to lose with the deck that they swapped. Like, and if, like, they look at your deck while they're shuffling it, but they don't know what to do with the information. Like they just know what you're playing. And so anyway, that's how I see it. And I've seen it from like people like day 1 of GPs. Like I'm like 95% certain they took a peek at my deck while they were shuffling it, but they're ponies. So the cheating doesn't matter. The cheating only matters when it's in the hands of a really good player, like a pro level player. That's when the cheating matters. And I think it's very low. I think it's very low. I think most of the players are pretty honorable for the most part. So it's very rare you get that like very like powerful cheating. Like, do I think a lot of cheating is happening at the pony level? Yes, it's happening a lot because they don't know the rules and they think they're like gaming the system. How do I put it like that? Like, you know, in a limited event, for example, they catch these people all the time because they do random deck checks and find out, hey, you got like all these cards in your deck that wasn't registered. You got all these like bomb rares. What the hell are you doing with it? So in limited events, they catch them constantly, but that sort of goes unseen in the competitive constructed events, because if a pony is winning, they have no reason to like manipulate their deck, but if a pony is losing, they have every reason to manipulate their deck. They don't even realize the purpose of filling out the deck list. So that's my take on cheating. A lot of cheaters at the pony level, not so many cheaters at the competitive level, and not really something to worry about, because the cheaters at the pony level, they lose anyway because they're ponies. That's Nikachu's take on cheating in Magic the Gathering. I hope everyone liked it. And let me know if you know any ponies that just willingly cheat and they like lose all the time anyway. Oh yes, a nice stream. Thank you, Yanchevik. Thank you. Johan Scoffby says he lost faith in spreading seas against Burn. Yeah, it's not as good. It's not what it used to be. Looks so bad. Do you? So from David Di Tulio, do you think we need a sort of watch list for Modern where we put cards like Astrolabe, Ancient Stirrings, etc., and only ban from it? Maybe. And I mean, that's possible, but like the problem is it may not even matter, because we had an unofficial watch list with Mox Opal and Ancient Stirrings on it, and people still flipped out when Mox Opal got banned. Like, okay, Ian Duke said officially, we're paying attention to Mox Opal. You know, we're going to pay really close attention because this is we know this is a problematic card. Then they ban it like basically 8 months later, and everyone's like, hey, what do you do that for? We didn't see that coming. Oh, come on. Ian Duke gave the warning sign. He gave the warning sign. Maybe it needs to be like even more official. Like, hey, these cards are like a problem. Be careful if you play with these cards, if you buy them, because they could potentially get banned. That's a possibility. I think that would be very fair. That Wizards could, and also Wizards could determine that. AK Jace asks, hey Nikachu, Lurrus is a great card for creature-based decks. Do you think it's going to get banned soon, just like Oko? Well, that's what we've been talking about today, and it's hard to tell if it's going to be Lurrus or Mishra's Bauble, because they could take either route. Lurrus gets a lot of free value from Mishra's Bauble, and if they ban the Bauble, like probably Lurrus is still going to be broken, but they could see what happens and then take it from there. So, but that's all up to Wizards data. I have no idea what Wizards is going to do. They will ban something, I will say that. Matt asks, is Tidal Warrior the one drop we need? Maybe. I mean, I do like that card. It'd be better if, like, Tron was more popular. Let's see. Can we now move a little bit more into the future? Oh, did we have a super chat that I totally missed? Freddie Eduardo Alcazar Barrientos. Thank you for the super chat, Freddie. Thank you very much. Love the vids, man. Hope the channel grows and grows. Great analysis and rant videos. What's your expectation with Modern Horizons 2? I hope they give us. I hope they undo the damage of Plague Engineer and they give us. Maybe that's where they give us the Merfolk. Like I had like really high hopes that Modern Horizons. Well, I mean, Modern Horizons gave us stuff. Like let's not BS ourselves. They gave us stuff. They gave us the Horizon lands, which we do use in Simic Merfolk. They gave us Force of Negation. They did. I mean, a lot of cards rocked Modern, things like Urza and stuff. So they didn't, but they gave us something. They gave us a bone to work with. They also gave us Plague Engineer. But that was definitely a set where they said they were going to help Tribal, and they did not help our Tribal. They just absolutely did not do that. So thanks for the super chat, Freddie. I appreciate it. Missed that somewhere. So sorry about that. Oh my God, we've got so many comments. We got millions of comments. Okay, I'm gonna like jump somewhere. Can we unprint a fairy? Fear of Flesh. Hey Nikachu, thank you for all the content. I discovered your channel recently through the Professor and have been really enjoying it. Thank you very much. And thank you, Professor, for that collaboration. A lot of people funnel their way here. Where'd all the elves go? Yeah, well, Plague Engineer destroyed elves. Like that it hurts. Elves is in a really bad. Elves wasn't even in a great spot before Plague Engineer was printed, and then like that just shut them out completely. Georgios, hello Nikachu, love your videos. Keep up the good work. What cards would you like to see in Historic? That's a tough question because we got everything basically. Maybe Mutavault. Mutavault would be a good addition to Historic. I would like that card. What else would I like to see in Historic? So Mutavault definitely. I think Mutavault because I'm using the Mystic really well. Mystic. The Lizard Wizard. What else do I want to see for Historic though? But probably Mutavault. Oh, Collected Company would not be too bad. Dur in there. Yeah, Collected Company would not be too bad. That would be probably a good card. That would change things real quickly. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. But right, overall, I think it's really, really good. Do you think okay, Gamebox, do you think Paradoxical Outcome Urza is still a playable deck? Yes. What is their problem? I guess their biggest problem is... Okay, maybe no. So their biggest problem is that Collector Oof got printed, and that shuts down a lot of cards, and that's just so easy for a lot of decks to play, like including Humans. Like now Humans has like a legitimate Stony Silence that they can just play. So that's a problem. I think that deck looks like a meta call when there's not enough. Maybe if you played it right now, it'd be good because like artifact decks are like super on the low. So if you just randomly play an artifact deck out of nowhere, you'd be well positioned. That's a possibility. So when artifact hate is low, I think the Paradoxical Outcome Urza deck is possible. Piotr asks, what do you think of Mistcaller plus Lurusto lock a vial against humans and basically destroy damage? Oh, Lurus. Lurus and Mistcaller. I don't think it's a lock necessarily because they can go end of turn. So the question is, can I play Mistcaller and Lurus and lock a humans player out of using Ether Vial? And the answer is it's not good. Or at least it's not going to lock people out of Ether Vial because they can go end of turn, activate Ether Vial, then I sacrifice Mistcaller, then they don't play anything, and then they untap and then activate their Ether Vial. But otherwise, they, what's it called? I did think of Mistcaller because that might be okay against Dredge. It's possible. Like it's possible. It would be good. I think it's an interaction good against Dredge, but not any Vial decks. Andre Kovac, do you know any ultra budget modern Merfolk decks? Yeah, I make. Well, I don't know what your definition of ultra budget is, but I have on many occasions made a $100 Merfolk deck online. You just look in my game history, or just look up budget Merfolk on YouTube, and you'll find them. So that's something you can look for. But I do on a very regular basis make budget Merfolk decks. I have no idea how budget Merfolk is going to work in today's metagame, because I really think you really need Chalice of the Void. But it's like $10 online, so maybe I can like just screw the budget. I could probably cut stuff down to like squeeze in 4 Chalices. That's possible. Where are we? Lorenzo, do you expect a Fetch Lands reprint in Zendikar Rising? No, I do not. I do not expect Fetch Lands to be in Standard. If they are, then that would be a huge, huge surprise that Wizards is pulling on us. They're like playing around with the secondary market. They're like, if we tell people about the Fetch Lands now, then they're going to start selling them. We don't want anyone to make financial decisions based on our information, so we're going to surprise them with the Fetch Lands when Zendikar Rising comes out, but I don't think that's going to happen. Fear of the Flesh asks, thoughts on having companions be like planeswalkers added in future sets from now on, giving players more choices among them, or do you prefer they address current ones and not print anymore? I mean, so like I personally would like to see more companions so that there is more choice. Probably Lurrus still has to get banned anyway, because this like I said, it's Snapcaster Mage, but for permanence, and every turn you get this. So Lurrus is a bit too stupid. So I would like to see more companions, but based on like what Mark Rosewater said, saying that companions will be iconic like 10 years from now, implies that this might be a one and done thing. There's not gonna be any more companions. Here's a good question. Tenacious Scholar 2. How will you apply your college education? So I'm in business school, and I usually apply everything as much as I can. I learn to my YouTube channel. So the marketing stuff. There's a lot of nuanced, interesting things that I've learned in business school that I have applied to the YouTube channel. What if you play another deck just for 1 week? I mean, I know people are interested in that sort of thing. You know, well, here's the thing. There's a lot of content creators that play a lot of different decks. And the way I look at it is, I just don't want to be one of those content creators in the end. I just want to be, you know, I'm the Merfolk guy, always playing Merfolk. If you want to know how I can play either, you know, my versions of Merfolk or your versions of Merfolk, I'm always there with the Merfolk. That's what you come here for. That's also my best way of gauging, like, you know, trying to describe my strategy. If I just play a random deck, I'm not going to play it perfectly. I don't know how well it's going to interact against my opponents. You know, Modern is very sensitive to... Modern is super sensitive to experience. Like, experience is very, very important in Modern. And yeah, like, so I just let all the other content creators play millions of different decks, and I will be the Merfolk / tempo tribal guy, because, you know, I am interested in playing Spirits and Pioneer. Lassie asked, what's my job? This is my job. YouTuber. I'm technically a YouTuber at this moment. Thassa is bad in EDH. In EDH, the more colors you have, the more powerful your deck is. Says Redstone. Let's see. Can confirm. Played Elves. Why Merfolk? Any other archetypes you enjoy? Nope, just Merfolk. I like Merfolk because it is a very rewarding deck when you win with it. It is a deck that always has game, no matter what era of the Modern I've gone through. You know, whether it is, you know, I've been through the Treasure, I've been through the Splinter Twin Birthing Pod, you know, Affinity era, I've been through the Treasure Cruise era, I've been through the banned Splinter Twin era, the Death Shadow era, the Hogak era, and now this Companion era, and Merfolk has always been competitive. At every step of the way, the deck has taken many forms and many changes, and that is the challenge of the deck, and I find that very stimulating, I find that very interesting. So, but and another thing is, like, the games for me are not repetitive, because the way I play out the deck changes pending the situation and the matchup. You know, a lot of people think you just gotta auto play Silvergill Adept on turn 2, and no, I don't do that all the time. Sometimes I play the Lord, sometimes I hold up Merfolk Trickster, sometimes I hold up a counter spell, sometimes I might play an Aether Vial. I don't know. So pending the situation, it's you got to factor in your matchup and the gameplay, and, you know, what the game plan is for the matchup. And so I find the deck very interesting, and always has been interesting and always has been competitive. But made millions of day 2s, Grand Prix top 8, millions of Modern Challenge top 8s, millions of 5-0s, and I'm not going to slow down or stop. And I really like that I have been able to maintain its competitive advantage even after so many changes in Modern. A lot of decks come and go, but Merfolk is like eternal. Merfolk's eternal. And I don't... I mean, there might be other decks that I enjoy, but I'm just not interested in them. Although I am interested in Slivers and Legacy. I think I would like that deck. I think I would like that deck a lot. If you want to play Splinter Twin, you can just play Izzet Breach. Similar idea, I guess so. Joseph says, if you get partner and maybe affiliate, you are not allowed to stream on YouTube or upload the VODs right after the stream. Just a heads up. Well, that's fine. I think that's fine. What, I'm not allowed to stream, period, or I'm not allowed to stream both at the same time? I think that's a different, those are two different questions, Joe. But you know what? Honestly, if I made partner, I think that would be fine. That would be fine. If they make that sort of deal, I think that'd be okay. Don't forget a big mana engine. I can't remember what that's in reference to. When are you going to make an interview with a mill master? Well, there's no mill master in existence yet. I think mill has, mill is one of those decks. This is a question by Rui Abreu. Mill is one of those decks that clearly has something going for it, and it's just missing. It's either missing something or it's off by like 4 or 8 cards. And if they could find the right like 75, if they change like 8 cards, like it clearly has game. Like it's that sort of tier 3 deck that it can make a 5/0, but it just can't do it consistently. It's got game, and it's just missing something, and it needs like a Nikachu behind that archetype to grind with it, find the weaknesses, find the overrated cards, and replace them with actual impactful cards for the metagame. So that's the problem with Mill. So I do think Mill, it's just one of those archetypes that it clearly is not a tier deck right now, but it has potential. It has potential, and it's attack. And what's great about Mill is it's attacking on an angle that most decks are not expecting. It's attacking on a very unique angle that no one else is trying to take advantage of. So maybe with the right, it's hard to build a deck. I mean, if at least with Merfolk, it's just hanging on by a thread, but it's there. It's at a solid 1%. But that is with like the right build, the right sideboard strategy, the right experience, the right skills. We've got it. We can do it. It's competitive. And then, but if you don't even have the right build, if you don't have the right strategy, if you don't have the right game plan matchup, then any deck could look really bad. So Mill is like close, but anyway, we don't have a Mill master because I guess no one's made it yet. Since Lurrus mid-range business is dominating, do you think it's a good time for a combo deck? Absolutely. That's why Ad Nauseam is back. So Josie Girl asks if it's like if it's because it's like we're all in mid-range value-based, in a value-based modern world. Can combo come back? Yes, but it needs to be the right combo deck, like strong combo that there's not too many sideboard cards against it. For things like, I think Amulet and the Titan Ramp decks, very well positioned right now. Ad Nauseam, very well positioned, especially because of the burn deck. And Ad Nauseam is putting up good results. What other strong combo decks I think can fit the bill here? Storm is still tough because they still have to fight through so many hate cards. I would put Storm as maybe one of the hardest decks to play right now in Modern. Like for a deck that is winning, it has so many things that it has to deal with. It's ridiculous. When it comes to music, I really like lo-fi. I'd be down for lo-fi. Anything more than that becomes distracting. Good to know. So like some people say, yeah, I would never use, if I stream on Twitch, I would never use music that's copyright material, because I would hate for my replays to be muted. That'd be terrible. Game soundtracks make for good music backgrounds. I have to say, I'm a fan of chiptune music. Nikachu's a chiptune fan. And a lot of my downtime, I listen to chiptune music. Redstone Pro says, I don't know why especially bad players cheat. Do someone feel good because you won a game by cheating? Well, the thing is, they don't know that they're cheating. That's the thing. They don't know that looking at the opponent's deck is against the rules. They don't know that basically they think they're gaming the system. That's the thing. Bad players cheat because they think they are getting an advantage that is within the rules, when they don't realize like there's like millions of rules against this sort of stuff. And you know, we write out our deck list before the tournament because so that you know you don't change any of the cards later. But if they don't realize that, if they don't understand that, they don't care, then they do it anyway. I mean, that's why so many people in limited get caught. They like bring they you know they stuff their pockets with, you know, like mythic rares and all those bomb rares, and then all of a sudden they've got all these good cards in their deck that weren't on their initial deck list. So yeah, that's why they like those sort of pony cheaters get caught very often in limited, but very hard for them to get caught in constructed, because by the time they start doing cheating like that, it's like too late for them. They're in like this X2, X3 bracket where like the judges aren't paying attention to that bracket. They don't care. They just let that group of people do their own thing. And I've heard inside events that there, well, I will say this, I've heard of relentless cheating inside events, and the judges are just like I mean, they sort of. I don't want to say that. I mean, they correct the situation, but they sort of turn a blind eye because it's not competitive REL. A lot of those all the side events are casual REL, so they have to treat it like F and M, where you know a lot of ponies will cheat anyway. But it's not in super competitive events. Oh, and Neoform. Yanchevik says, you still think that Neo brand should be in Modern for its cool... For me, it's cool for a Legacy style deck in Modern since Legacy became too expensive because of the reserve list. No, I don't think so. I actually think this deck is stupid. Most people are shying away from actually buying into the deck, so it's not too bad. Fact of the matter is, it's not broken. It's actually quite fair. There are enough answers in Modern that seems to like push it down. So long as there are enough Force of Negation decks, that deck will just fold like a lawn chair. It's just not good against hate. It can't beat the hate. It just does a good job being explosive against other decks that can't interact with it. But if you can interact with it, you will. So it is fair, but I still don't really think it should exist because it puts up a like it's really bad gaming experience. Really bad gaming experience. LT Law asks, do you think Pioneer is dead? Nope, I do not think so. I think Pioneer is for the people who don't want to play against Chalice of the Void, don't want to play against Ensnaring Bridge, don't want to play against Blood Moon. Dr. Redstone makes the comment that it wasn't a problem that Mox Opal was banned. The problem was that Mox Opal was $120. I actually don't know if that's true. Like, Splinter Twin got banned, and I think it got banned when it got reprinted, and it was a lot cheaper. So like even when a card is like cheap, it still hurts people because that's their card. It's their favorite card in the deck. It was just extra salt that the fact that Mox Opal was $120. But like, what are you gonna do? You know, what are you gonna do? Because like that's actually an indication that the card was broken, in my opinion. Hope everyone likes the stream so far. This is like my replacement strategy for actual live content. Maybe I can do this every day. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Why is Force Negation so expensive on Magic the Gathering Online? Because you need it. And they only made like... There was a short run of Modern Horizons. And they just had Modern Horizons out again, but... it wasn't enough to really push the card. It did push the card down. So if you could buy into it when it was at its low, then that's good for you, because it was very, very high at one point. Mikey says, "Hey Nikachu, I haven't been playing for about 5 months. Any advice to help me get caught up quicker?" I don't know what you mean by get caught up quicker, but I would say if you haven't played for a long time, you just dive right back in. And that's my best advice. I think a lot of people are a little bit scared about losing when they haven't been playing for a long time, but there's no better way to learn the new interactions of the new Modern metagame than to just play it and lose a bunch and just learn from it as quickly as possible. The more games, that would be a situation where I would say jamming games has a lot of value. Just to get in there, lose to like everything, learn it really quickly, and then get that experience. How far am I from the bottom here? What time is it now? I am 20 minutes behind in the chat. I'm slowly getting through everything. lot more comments than questions. Ben asks, any advice for playing with Chalice of the Void? I picked up a few copies the other day. It seemed to help against Prowess. Against Lure Shadow, should I play it on 1 or 0? So, I mean, the default for playing with Chalice of the Void is you play it on 1, but if they have Mishra's Bauble in the graveyard, and your opponent is threatening to play Lurrus, then I would say playing it on 0 is very reasonable. But I would say until, if you have no, like, and they have Lurrus and you have no answer to it, because playing it on 1 is devastating. It cuts out a lot of their removal and their Death Shadows, and all, like, they've built their deck to be around 1 mana to 2 mana to use Lurrus the best way possible. So I would prioritize 1, and then pending the situation, put it on 0. But I wouldn't put it on 0 by default. Gianluca asked, what do you think of Restore Balance in today's meta? Probably not that good. I don't know what to say about it, because I know there's that Electro Dominance deck that could play Restore Balance, and I'm seeing it a lot. So maybe there is something behind it that I don't know about. Like, it's that Electro Dominance, As Foretold deck. So maybe Restore Balance has more game to it than I think. Because I'm either hearing people play against it or I'm seeing it a lot. So there has to be, if it's so popular, or if you're seeing it so often, there's usually a reason behind it. There's usually a reason behind it. Do you think Wizards of the Coast should design cards in Modern Horizons 2 to support decks left behind in Modern, like Elves, Soul Sisters, or Grixis Control? Yes. Grixis Control is in a weird spot because you're always asking yourself, why do I play Grixis over, say, Blue-White Control or Bant? So that's tough for that. For Elves got some help though. I mean, they got what's it called? Veil of Summer. Now Soul Sisters, I think, is a real deck, but like that's sort of but you could say there's 2 ways of making a deck better. You get a good mind behind it, like Tom Ross, who's improved a lot of archetypes in the past, or you just give it a powerful card to like push it into the meta, like put it into top tier territory. So those are 2 options, and it would be nice to see them design cards specifically for those archetypes. Like, why the hell they made Urza is a weird thing, because that only helped the really broken decks of the era right now. Like, we already had a problem against like those prison decks, and they just give them this Urza. Although I have to say, it was a blessing in disguise, because it's a lot easier to beat an Urza deck, at least from my perspective, than to beat a prison deck. That was way harder to beat. So Urza forced the unfair prison decks to be a much more fair, either a fair prison deck or a fair value-based deck. So I'm actually way happier that Urza exists than those Lantern Controls prison things. That was awful. What is the prettiest merfolk card? Asked the Josie girl. Prettiest? I know the sexiest is Merfolk Sovereign. Prettiest, because I mean she's basically naked on the card. I want to sort of say Silver Giladapt. I just like how colorful the image is, but I can't think of the prettiest merfolk off the top of my head right now. Oh, Trickster, yeah, Trickster is a pretty card. She's a babe. She's gorgeous. Lord Magica says there's 124 of you in the chat and only 50 likes. You know what to do. That's all good, yeah. So Gamebox says they explicitly stated they are not putting fetches in Standard this year. That is correct. Lassie asks, what's your favorite deck besides Merfolk? Well, I've never really played anything else, but it would probably be some sort of Blue Moon deck. I really like the look of Blue Moon and like the gameplay that it offers, so I mean, it would probably be, if I had to play another deck, it would be something like that, or Death Shadow, but I've never played either of those archetypes. A Hoke asks, what city am I in? I am from Winnipeg. Merfolk only. Tim Spear says, good morning. Good morning, Tim Spear. I believe I saw you in what's it called? I think I saw you in Minneapolis. If I'm connecting the names correctly. Yeah, I'm only a Merfolk player that does videos on Merfolk in Modern. That's it. And we're gonna stick to that as long as Modern is still a good format. So far, it's still doing good. Devin Jones, welcome. Tim asks if I've graduated. Nope, and it looks like I'm still quite a ways away from it. Help me make this my job. I mean, it already is my job, but I need to make like some much more serious money. Need to make like, you know, super lush gamers and big house sort of money. That sort of says how much money there is in Magic in general as a competitive format. Because you look at other games and you see these gamers, they're living in a big house and they're living the life, they're doing great. But then you look at like Magic players and, you know, they are not doing that because it's just not feasible. It's just not feasible. They're getting the money up there. They're getting the money, but it's still not there yet. Lastly, I do not play Commander, but I would play Merfolk in Commander if I did. I don't really have a play group, and I'm just mostly focusing on competitive stuff at the moment. Eric L. Bart says, good stuff. Thanks for the content. Have a nice summer. Thank you very much, Eric. So Tenacious has a follow-up question to my education question. Have you ever considered quitting Magic as a source of income and working a corporate job? Nope, I have not. For one thing, no matter what, like, YouTube is always going to be a thing in my life because I like this. I like the camera. The camera likes me, so we're going to stick to this YouTube thing for way into the future. Will it always be based on Magic? I don't know. For now, it is. I'm also very good at chess, and I'm like razor close to also, in addition to having a Magic channel, having a chess channel, but I don't know if I am ready yet to put all the work into doing something like that, because it's like, oh my god, I gotta make a chess Twitter, I gotta make a chess fan page, and I now have to take care of two channels instead of one. Like, content creation's tough. I mean, if I did it full time, it would be possible. Unfortunately, like, university splits a lot of my time. Mill is like Burn. It's just harder Burn. Kevin asks, do you think it's reasonable to take a break from Modern if you don't want to adapt and buy into Lurrus and Bauble? I love Simic, but feel I'm at too big of a disadvantage not playing a companion. And the answer is yes. I think you can take a break from Modern, especially when you know, like, it's pretty clear something's going to get banned. So, you know, if there's another format you like, whether it's EDH, and I highly also recommend Historic Merfolk on MTG Arena. It's not too expensive and it's a lot of fun. And, you know, it's Arena, so it's great. I would recommend doing that. Yeah, I totally see people I know a lot of other people are taking a break. We got, like, Blue Moon Master, the Pen Sword, Jacob Kaminsky. I believe he's taking a break from Modern until, like, something gets done, because he can't reasonably play his Blue Moon control deck in this metagame. Just too value oriented. And the Blue Moon doesn't work so long as Astrolabe exists. Yeah, when will we get the Merfolk Champion of the Parish? Are you familiar with the band Anamanaguchi? They are an incredible chiptune band. I am not familiar. I just started listening to, like, I know I've liked chiptune music. I just didn't know there was a genre called chiptune music. And just so happens on Spotify, I was like, let's put in chiptune and see what happens. I'm like, oh my god, I love this. This is awesome. This is great. What have I been missing my entire life? You know, I like stuff like nightcore music, chiptune music, if you want to get an idea of what I listen to personally. Juliet, yes, I am reading the chat. I'm reading the chat. Reading the chat on an iPad. Let's see what this looks like. Is it going to create the window effect? Oh, we're getting the window effect. Oh, we must go deeper. Inception! Inception! How far will we go? That's crazy. That's weird looking. So I've got two means of interacting here. Tim Spear. Yeah, we did see each other at Minneapolis. Christopher Denome, what am I studying right now? I am studying business stuff. We're talking like accounting, corporate finance, marketing, human resource management, supply chain management, all that good stuff. Let me tell you, I'm not very good at I'm not very good at the corporate finance, the accounting. I'm basically the only thing left for me to do in this business school is to take something regarding marketing, and I think I would end up liking it the most anyway. Oh, I'm almost caught up with everything. So Magic players don't make it because they still have to pay for their cards. Don't know if that's entirely true, Gamebox. Most most of the good Magic players, they do have to pay for some cards, but they usually have a good network of friends that all have cards and they can borrow cards. Some have sponsors, like they can just borrow from their game store. Some, not a lot. They do have to pay for a good chunk of cards, but like usually like they have a network of people that they can borrow cards from. It happens. I don't know what it is for Standard. They might have to just outright buy the cards from Standard because people don't own the cards. Nick asks, how long have you been playing Merfolk? Have you played anything else before, maybe as a child? So I've been playing Merfolk since I think 2013. That's when I started playing it. My first modern deck was Boggles, and I played it terribly. In retrospect, Boggles looks like, or Bogles looks like a good entry point into Modern, but it's not. I would say it's a bad entry point into Modern, because the thing is, you don't know what hoses you. Like, I guess what it comes down to is, like, everyone's going to bring in Spellskite and Chalice of the Void against you, or, like, other hosing cards, and you don't know that, so you don't know what... I guess, if you don't have a sideboard guide, there's, like, the deck is pointless, because you don't know when to bring in things like Dismember, Path to Exile, Seal of Primordium, and basically, I'm looking at these Path to Exiles and Dismembers in my sideboard, I'm like, what do I need it for this matchup? And then my opponent plays turn 2 Spellskite. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to die. So I lost like 20 consecutive matchups with the Bogles, and I moved to Merfolk. But when I first started playing the game, I played a mono-blue control deck. Mono-blue permission deck with Thieving Magpie and Masticore and Morphling. It was great. I don't even know what this deck looked like. It was like probably like one-ofs counter spells all over the place. Nikachu playing Commander on Magic the Gathering Online would be a fun video. If Commander was a bigger thing, or sorry, Commander is a big thing, but if it was a competitive format, I'd be more interested in it. Hunter asked, whatever happened to the guy who would play Burn on your channel and the guy who played Death and Taxes? So you can find Jason the Splicer Samard, who played Death and Taxes at The Evil Empire MTG. He doesn't have many videos because he hasn't kept up with his channel, but also Day 2, I think it's Day 2 MTG, is Andrew Day 2 Dryden. He has been out of the loop for the Burn content recently, but if you need to find more Burn content, he's got a backlog of stuff on his channel. Matthew asks if I have any signed prints of Merfolk cards. I do not. No signed prints. I'm not really a fan of signed cards, to be honest. Hello, Cone Morris. You just discovered me. ETA on computer, anywhere between 8 days to 3 weeks. That's the ETA of the computer. So until then, we might be doing a lot of the streaming stuff. Chalice of the Nikachu, says Quay. Usually a free win. Yep. Cone Morris asks, what is the benefit of Merfolk over other tribes in your opinion? The adaptability. That is the core benefit of Merfolk against other tribes. Like, for example, humans doesn't have a lot of room to change. Like, they don't have a lot of room to change their cards, even though you would think they could. When the metagame is hard on humans, then it's just not that great, and they don't seem to want to adapt or change anything. Whereas with Merfolk can like easily change a lot of the cards in their 75 very easily to adapt to the current metagame, to get a big advantage, to be competitive. So that's in my opinion, that is the big draw to Merfolk, is that the toolbox that we have available is very large and the deck is very flexible. We're not all in on Master of Waves. We're not all in on Lords. We don't even need one drops sometimes. We can take a very patient route against other control decks and combo decks. I still got coffee. I guess we're gonna end it when I run out of coffee. I'm not gonna show you how much coffee I've left. Where's the cats? Chubby Meatball, come! Come! I don't think she's coming. Sometimes she'll come. Have you tested Sea Dash or Octopus? I have not. My computer died before I could even try. But I would probably only try it in Spirits at the moment because like Lurrus is clearly much better for modern merfolk. There's like no room for that Octopus. John asks, I love playing Modern, but tired of playing only against Tier 1 decks. Any suggestions on where to play against lower tier decks? Yes! Go play in the tournament practice area, or I think it's called the free-to-play area on Magic the Gathering Online. You will play against Tier 7 decks. I assure you, will play against Tier 7 decks there. 100%. Nice listening that you are interested in Spirits on Pioneer. I just started with Mono Blue, but Spirits seems more fish style right now. What version do you think about it? Blue White or Bant? I think both. I think you have to be prepared for both JNF. You got to be prepared for Blue White if Burn is very heavy in the metagame and you want to main deck something like Mystical Dispute, but I think you should have Bant up your sleeve because Collected Company is still a really powerful card, but both are playable for sure. Juliet asks, is YouTube a well-paid job? It is if you're good at it. So, if you're very popular, if you're very good at monetizing yourself, like the ad revenue only works if you're making like hundreds, like, I don't know, if you can average 100,000 views a video, then probably you can live pretty well off of the ad revenue. Otherwise, you probably can't. I mean, I make a lot more from the ad revenue than I thought I would based on like the opinions of like other YouTubers talking about it. But still, I mean, I will die on the ad revenue. I very much live off of the patrons supporting me on Patreon. Thank you everyone we all gotta thank the patrons for keeping the train going. Do a paper mulligan guide stream. That's possible. Anything is possible. And I actually have a new tripod. I got a new tripod. Can I show it? I'm going to show a little bit of my tripod. So here's where I do my videos, and we've got the tripod here that just came in before I was using some rubbish garbage like propped up. Oh, there we go. You saw a little bit of Nikachu's home, but with that tripod, I can do these overhead shots. Like you can bend it and do these overhead shots so you can actually see like the table, so that's possible. You can do a mulligan guide. How do you see Tron in the meta right now, says Space Predator. I don't know why it would be bad, because it's a very powerful deck. So I don't know why people aren't reaching for it. But looks good. Looks good to me. I think it looks fine. I think it's okay. So I don't know why people aren't playing it. I can't think of a good reason why. Maybe there's enough. Well, like I don't know if Death Shadow really has a good matchup in that matchup. I mean, they've got tools. They most certainly have tools. I think Tron seems to be fine. I think Tron would be okay. Nothing against it. Gamebox, Nikachu, how do you deal with bad beats and losing streaks? Okay, so when it comes to bad beats, I am relatively numb to them. I mean, I still don't like losing, but I've played enough games now that I'm accomplished enough that I can just say, look, I've won millions of times. Like, who cares if I ran bad here? I get over it very quickly if I get upset. When it comes to like losing to a bad beat, like my opponent top decked something ridiculous, and I had the game, and they there was a situation where my opponent was dead. They were playing the Urza prison deck, and my opponent was dead next turn, and the only thing they could do was spin the wheel once with Urza and hope to find, I think it was Thopter Foundry to combo off, and they found it. So and otherwise they were going to die next turn. And that was for the match. But whatever, you know, it happens. It will happen. So you gotta have you just gotta understand that's the nature of the game. It works both ways. You're going to top deck against your opponent's going to top deck against you, and it's just the nature of Magic the Gathering, and you just have to accept that. So I've accepted that a long time ago. I accepted that a lot in poker when I used to play it. Now when it comes to losing streaks, I have much better advice, because losing streaks will hurt you psychologically. If you keep losing and losing, you could lose because you're getting unlucky, but there comes a point where now you feel so beat up, so beaten down by luck, that you now start playing badly because you're so emotionally compromised or psychologically compromised. And so if you ever feel like, you know, you're like scared to play Magic, you're scared you're going to get unlucky, or you feel like, you know, something bad's going to happen if you start playing, you got to take a break from the game. It's as simple as that. Just do something else. Just take a break from the game. Game's still going to exist a month from now, or even a week from now. And, you know, you got to wait enough time that you feel hungry and confident that you can get back into the game without feeling like you're going to be on like a losing streak. Because like, and I do this actually very often with chess. I actually play chess almost every day, and then like if I lose 2 games in a row, I just snap quit. I was like, okay, I'm putting this down for like a few hours. I don't want to play this anymore. So the best way to deal with losing streaks, get yourself in a good state of mind, is just disconnect yourself from the game for a little while. That's all. You just have to have the discipline to not play. Play when you're much more fresh. Clayton says, Nikachu, Jim Davis suggests a rule change about Companion to fix the issues. What do you think Wizards of the Coast could do? So apparently, that was the original rule. Like, Companion is not a new idea, apparently. Apparently, this is an old idea. And the original rule was you replace one of the starting cards in your hand with the Companion. And playtesting showed that this was really repetitive and the gameplay was bad, so they actually did not print Companion at that time. So now they printed Companion and made it worse because you don't actually have it in your hand anymore. I think it's a fair way of adjusting Companion if they have to try to ban the cards, and maybe that's a consideration Wizards of the Coast is doing, because Companion is not explicitly stated on the cards. So making a change to the rules, like they've done, which they've done many times, by the way. They've done this with legendary, like they've done this millions of times with legendary permanents. In the past, like only one person can have a legendary permanent, and then you can have a legendary permanent and it destroys your other person's legendary permanent. But now we both get to have a legendary permanent, but no more of one name type, and now we can have multiple name types of a legendary permanent, like different types of Jace and Liliana. All this weird nonsense. So they've changed the rules on legendary stuff all the time to make the game better. They absolutely could do the same thing with with Companion. It's an option on the table. Christian asks, if Oko was unbanned, would you play Oko Merfolk or Lurrus Merfolk? Probably Oko Merfolk. I think Oko offers more value than Lurrus, as strange as that sounds. Because Oko's harder to kill. Oko is a lot harder to kill. Lurrus is easy to kill. You just kill it. Die, just stick a dismember at it. But Oko is not the same deal. Like once Oko hits the battlefield, makes a food token, is at 6 loyalty, it's very difficult to kill Oko. And Oko just makes a lot, like is also similar to Lurrus. It gets value every turn, but just harder to kill. And also your Oko interacts with their Lurrus. You turn their Lurrus into a 3/3 elk, and I think Oko wins the value game. Dur Redstone asks a really good question. Is Octopus not just a worse version of Curious Obsession? No, I think it's a huge upgrade to Curious Obsession, because Curious Obsession, you're so liable to get 2-for-1, but the Octopus gives you the option of playing a creature. So let's say you pass the turn. Oh, and by the way, Curious Obsession is always played at sorcery speed, but not the Octopus. So let's say you pass the turn, your opponent taps out, swings at you, I don't know, do nothing. You can then freely just play the Octopus as a creature or as an aura and then get in damage. And by the way, if you just play it as an Octopus and it gets in damage, now you're like, it's free value for the rest of the game. So I think the Octopus is a huge upgrade over Curious Obsession, which is so dependent on a creature. You always have to play it at sorcery speed. So vulnerable. I think the Octopus is in the opposite direction. It's at instant speed. You get more information when you want to play it, and you have the option to just play it as a creature. So, you know, if you have an empty board, your opponent has an empty hand, you top deck Curious Obsession, that sucks. But if you top deck an Octopus, it's a 2/2 flash creature, that's good. In my opinion. Cone Morris asked, what do you think about the solution that was erratic? Oh yeah, we just went over that. Would that fix them, or would stuff like Gyruda still be a would Gyruda still be a problem? I mean, Gyruda still might be a problem because that's a huge combo. And the thing with Gyruda is the Gyruda decks play with 3 more Gyruda in their main deck because the companion clause, I think it's just the cards need to have an even mana cost if I'm not mistaken, and Gyruda is of an even mana cost. So you can have a Gyruda as your companion and then 3 more Gyruda in your main deck. So I don't even think it's that big of a deal for them that they have to put the card in their hand because they can still open up a starting hand with Gyruda in it. Matthew Ford asks, is Chubby Meatball there? I missed probably. No, I mean, Chubby Meatball's somewhere here. I don't know where she is. She's not around. She's probably sleeping. She likes to sleep. They're cats. They sleep all the damn time. Oh, we almost caught up. I know it's a fringe deck, but would you consider 8-rack a positive matchup for Merfolk? Yes. I mean, I have beaten almost every 8-rack deck. I very rarely lose to 8-rack. The only time that I ever lost was when they were playing in Snaring Bridge, and I did not have any answer in my 75. That's the only way I ever lost to 8-rack. But aside from that, I don't lose to 8-rack. It's we have enough. Aether Vial is pretty good. Like, Aether Vial is good so that I can play creatures and hold cards in my hand. We got a lot of grind between Mutavault and Silvergill Adept. Sometimes Spreading Seas slows them down. So, like, Merfolk has a lot of game against 8-rack. And also, by the way, I know a lot of people like to take the draw against 8-rack, but I'd highly suggest Merfolk keeps taking the play because getting Aether Vial in play on turn 1 I think is more valuable than taking the draw and letting your opponent Inquisition or Thoughtseize the Aether Vial away. I think Aether Vial is a very good card in the matchup. Mikey says, wrong. You're supposed to get salty in the chat when you lose to a top deck. Davide, can you tell us about your worst punts or the most fun ones in tournaments or similar? My worst punt in a tournament? I think the only one that I can remember is I'm in the top 8 against Humans. Now, this is when Humans just came out, and I'm not really super familiar with the matchup, and I was playing it more cautiously than I should have. My opponent had like a Seachrome Coast out, which is their only one, and I was playing around Path to Exile, which does not exist in their deck. But even then, so I played a lot more cautiously. Anyway, I'm in the quarterfinals of this top 8. And I was really thirsty. Like, I was really thirsty. Now, usually I get like a tea or a coffee before I get into a top 8 because I want to keep the caffeine flowing. Caffeine, the easiest way to cheat in Magic the Gathering tournaments, boosts your performance like 15%. But I'm so thirsty, I don't feel like having tea because I can't gulp that down really quickly. It's hot. So I decide I'm gonna get an iced tea, like one of those Arizona can iced teas. I like drink the whole thing down, and now I have a massive sugar crash. I'm so tired. I feel super heavy, and turns out I have lethal on the battlefield. Lethal on the battlefield. I can't count it properly. I'm counting the damage. I count it 3 times. I miscount it wrong for some reason every single time. I didn't consider 1 extra lord that's on the battlefield. I don't attack for clear lethal, and then my opponent kills me. So that was probably my biggest punt. And it was streamed. It was streamed by my local game store, so everyone got to see the huge blunder of me counting out lethal and not actually attacking. So that's the biggest punt that I can think of. That was ever on camera in a competitive tournament. Yeah, so that was awful. Never drinking an Arizona green tea before a top 8 ever again. That's probably the last time I'm ever doing that. That's the last time. I should have just got water. Dark Shiva Gaming. Hey, huge fan. How do you evaluate the thought process of adapting your deck archetype to current meta instead of crying for bans? Well, I mean, so, as I've learned in psychology and a little bit of sociology, and also like just through like my business school, like different cultures, different people have different attitudes towards change. Like it's a very interesting thing. People have different attitudes towards change. Some people are they're open to change. They're open to things being different. And then some people, they're like, I don't want anything to change. I want to play this tic-tac-toe game forever. Keep the 3x3 grid and 2 different symbols for the rest of eternity. So, and it's funny because Magic the Gathering is the type of game that changes all the time. There's new cards, there's new rules change all the time. So it's a game that's all about change. But the point is, some people are more sensitive to change than others. So when things change a lot through, like if people are forced to change their deck, they're not open to that. They're just not open to it. So they want to ban things to make their old 75 good again. I'm the type of person, and I think Merfolk players are the type of community that are more open to change. They're willing to change the cards in their deck when it is necessary to adapt to the metagame. And then, that adaptation just comes to like, I look at the I look at I look at I look at the metagame, I look at the results, but I also look at what I'm playing against, and then I make a good judgment call. Do I need cards to improve this deck in this matchup, or can I just outplay my opponent, or is my matchup fine? Like a good example right now is I think a lot of my Merfolk builds are not good enough against Bant Control. I think against good Bant Control players, like I have a fine matchup, but I want a good matchup because I expect to play against this pretty often, for a very long time going into the future. So I need to adjust my deck so that I need good cards for the matchup, is basically what I'm saying. And I don't know exactly what those cards are going to be or what that deck looks like, but, if I don't think a matchup is good enough, I need to change the cards. Hey, Devoted Devastation and Hardened Scales are big decks right now, so I'm playing with Damping Matrix, or Dampening Matrix? Playing with Dampening Matrix, because those decks are hard to beat for me. Hardened Scales, Affinity, and Devoted Devastation, those are very difficult matchups for Merfolk. So I need Glass Cannon, I win cards, and Dampening Matrix is the thing to do against that. Are there any other games you would consider creating content for? Yes, chess. Chess. I'm a chess master, and I think I could make a good chess channel. And I think chess might be underrepresented. There are a lot of chess channels, but like they're like largely doing a lot of the same thing. I wouldn't mind making a chess channel similar to what I'm doing, but maybe less. Maybe I don't know. Maybe gameplay, maybe not gameplay. I'm not sure. Yanchevik, why aren't we seeing the octopus now? Because of companions. Companions have completely ruined the possibility of playing the octopus. I don't know, but maybe in Pioneer it's possible. Maybe in Pioneer it's possible. Mark Schutz, what's your opinion on the power creep? So I don't mind. I don't mind because I'm the person that's willing to deal with change, and I like change. I like things when I like a new format. I like changing my deck to accommodate new challenges. So I don't mind the change, and I don't mind the power creep, so long as it's not completely warping the format. Hogak was a bad example. I was okay with Oko, and I'm still okay with the current companions because even though everyone's playing Loris, every Loris deck is unique. Like, Burn playing Loris is not the same as Death Shadow playing Loris, or Jund playing Loris. Everyone's playing Loris in a very unique manner. Merfolk is playing Loris in a unique manner. If anything, the only thing that's repetitive is the Mishra's Bauble. That's an interaction everybody has. So that could be one piece of repetitive gameplay that could be cut out. But I'm fine with power creep. The problem is the community at large is not fine with power creep, and if you change too much, that does hurt people. Like, especially if your deck was tier 1, and then thanks to power creep, your deck constantly shifts. I think people don't thank wizards when their deck goes from like tier 2 to tier 1, but if you go from tier 1 to tier 2, you're gonna give wizards hell. Like, hey, what have you done to my archetype? How dare you put me, like, bring me down because you're printing powerful cards that undermine my strategy now. So like, but people don't like change. They want to play. There's a good chunk of people who don't like change, I should say. There's a lot. And polling modern players, judging by it, it looks like most people do not like companions at all. Fidel Lopez, what's your other cat's name? Salud. Salud. I hear it on your videos, but I can never understand what you're saying. It is salud. I think it's literally the Spanish word for like hello or salute. Or maybe, no, sorry, maybe it's salute. It's like the Spanish word for salute. S-A-L-U-D-E. Salud. Salud. I can see salud, but he's sleeping. Matthew Ford. Whoa, no sugars? Gosh, I've been doing it wrong all the way. Yeah, sugar is not good for competitive player, that's for sure. When you see me play those Merfolk videos, it's generally after, and I used to have sugar in my coffee. I don't have sugar in my coffee anymore. So it's like usually right in the morning, I eat my breakfast, I get my coffee, and then we start making the Merfolk videos, the gameplay videos, when I'm like at my brain is at its strongest. Brandon says, I miss the days when Merfolk was good against control. Hey, it still is. It still is. It just depends how much you want to like prepare for it. Manic says, what's your opinion on Unsettled Mariner for Merfolk with Loris? I think it's playable. I mean, obviously it's good against Burn, but I don't know how good it is against all the other decks. Like, certainly it's okay. It's okay. But I just feel like it's a little bit passive in the way it's trying to interact with our opponent. But it like interacts with humans also in a way. Gamebox, Nikachu, who is the Urza Master? Probably Canister if he wants to play the deck. Like, he was a really good Urza player. Eric, are you actually like an official NM or IM? I am an NM, yes. I am a National Master, which is the weakest of all the masters, but I will take it. It's I would love to be FIDE Master or IM, but I don't go to enough tournaments. I don't go to enough FIDE rated tournaments to get these titles. It's hard and it's expensive. It's very expensive to like go out for a week to play an event, and you have to pay for the hotel, you have to pay for your food, and you're not working. Maybe if this YouTube thing goes well, I can go back to trying to become a FIDE Master into International Master. And I heard, thanks to the inflation of the FIDE rating, that maybe it's possible. Thomas Liu, what's your FIDE rating? I think it's like high 2000s. It used to be low 2100s, but then like I had a string of losses before I decided like I'm gonna start playing Magic again and I'm gonna put chess away, because I was playing chess competitively and then I'm like starting to burn out on chess, and I'm like Magic presented itself, and then I went like full into Magic. But I think it's like around 2080-ish. My Lead Chess rating is like, I don't know, 2,200 something, and my chess.com rating is 2,130-ish right now. But I just started playing on Lead Chess, so maybe my rating is like higher than it should be. There's good change and change for the sake of selling packs. The latter shouldn't be a thing. Dark Shiva Gaming. Great answer about adapting to change. I like how Oko played and do think companions are pretty interesting. Too bad Fish does not have a meddling mage for companions. That's true. Oh, really? Is salud? Well, salute is French, but salud is like salute is like basically adopted from French. We use it in English. I don't think we have a I don't think we have a salute word in English. But there is a salud, S-L-S, instead of a T, it's a D. Salud. Salute is bless you or cheers. Oh, okay. Salud means health in Spanish. It also means cheers as an expression. Okay, okay, so I'm wrong with the definition. We are getting yeah, so it was like a sort of a hello sort of a thing. A greeting, I would like to say. Do you think Legacy Fish is dead? Nope, Joseph. It's got a new combo now. I think it's I don't know what the card is called. I think it's called Reality Shift. And it will exile your library. It will help exile your library, and then you play Thassa's Oracle, and you have a 2-card winning combo. Very strong, very strong. It'll help shore up a lot of bad matchups. So Legacy Fish is still alive. Maybe more alive now than ever before. What's your favorite chess opening? Well, my repertoire is I play e4. I guess my favorite opening is going into the Yugoslav attack against the Sicilian Dragon. I have traditionally have had incredibly high win rates against that thing. I like how dangerous it is. Although I have to say, recently I've been having a lot of struggle against it. I've been playing against a lot of good players, and they're giving me a really hard time. But maybe it's because I got to brush up on my openings and, you know, find out what the latest theory is on the Sicilian Dragon. Maybe, I guess that's my favorite opening. It's really dangerous, super dangerous. The wins look beautiful, they're gorgeous. But my repertoire is e4 is white, and I play the Sicilian defense and I play Sicilian defense against e4, and I also play the Grunfeld defense against d4. All the complicated stuff. Nikachu is all about playing these super complicated openings, just like I play Merfolk, which is a very complicated modern deck. I missed day 2. His misplays were the best. Any chance of doing a chess tournament? Only if I make the chess. Only if I make the chess channel. Have you ever put in a hiatus from MTG? Yes. Like I played. So basically, I played Magic from 1999 to 2002, and then I dumped it for chess. And then I played chess from like up to 2007 when I started playing poker. Then I played a little bit of Magic in 2010 and decided I can't play chess, Magic, and poker at the same time, so I'm going to dump the Magic. And then by 2013, I've got back into Magic again, and now I'm like, okay, this is like the 3rd time in my life I keep getting back into Magic, so we're going to stick to it, and we're going to get good. Before I wasn't very good at it, but now we're actually going to get good at this game. So I have taken many hiatuses from Magic, but you know, like they say, you keep coming back. You don't actually quit Magic, you just take breaks. Oh, okay, Paradigm Shift. I know it's a shift card. So Paradigm Shift is the combo card in the Legacy deck. Thank you, Monster. That helps a lot. What's your least favorite Magic card made to play against? Probably Walking Ballista. I hate that card. That is really... well, okay, it's either Ensnaring Bridge, which, I mean, obviously hoses my deck, but if it's not Ensnaring Bridge, then I would say Walking Ballista. That's just... I hate that. That's a pretty garbage card. Hello, Ral Esper. Is this the start of your Twitch career? Sort of. I mean, I got to get used to streaming. We got to get used to streaming, and this is going to be it. Do you think... Oh, hey, Nikachu, I almost forgot the plural of spreading seas is spreading seas. English teacher here, points to self. Do you think Lurrus will get banned, and is it bad for the modern format? Either Lurrus or Mishra's Bauble will get banned. Which one it is, we got to wait for... we have to wait for Wizards to see, and based on how I've polled the audience, I've polled on Twitter and Facebook, 85% of people, 90% do not want companions. They hate them, so it actually appears to be bad for the game. I like companions, but not everyone sees it that way, and you know, if everyone hates it, and it's sort of, you know, this is sort of a community-based game, then it's just bad for the game. People are so interested in chess. That's why I got to make the chess channel. There's like 900 million chess players out there. What's your most memorable chess game? It's like impossible to describe, but it was basically a game where I had basically a lethal mating threat. Every single piece on the board was perfectly positioned, and all my opponent's pieces looked like they were on random squares all over the board. It looked really silly. So I just liked the game because my king attack looked beautiful, and and all my pieces were perfectly positioned. My opponent's pieces were just scattered all over the board. And my opponent was pretty strong. Nikachu, how do you feel about the new 4-drop Moth Broad Mother that allows you to attack at will and get your creatures back with flying for modern play? I actually, Raul, I don't know what that card does, so I can't really comment on it. I'm pretty sure I saw it before, but it's like it's a 4-drop, isn't it? Yeah, it's a 4-drop. 4-drop is pretty high in the converted mana cost from Merfolk. There's not a lot of room for cards like this. The only time that we play 4-drops, I think it has to be like Master of Waves or Cryptic Command power level. So that doesn't sound, I don't know if it's good enough. David asks, does your YouTube channel plus Patreon entirely pay for your college tuition? No, well, I mean, I gotta pick one. It does entirely pay for my life, but it for life plus college, it does not. So basically, by the end of the year, I am in the red, but I have a lot of money saved that I can. It is not like a financial problem. Winter Orb is the worst. Don't you think Pioneer is too much Theros-centered? I would like I mean, maybe. So Gianluca asks, yeah, is Pioneer too Theros-centered? I mean, Theros is a strong set, so it's going to end up having a lot of powerful cards in Pioneer. It's just how it is. It's just how the format has cut off. It's cut off at Return to Ravnica, and so it's probably whatever set has the most powerful cards is going to be centered around it. I would like companions if it was something special to see them because they are really janky. All right, so I think that should be it for today for the stream. I got through almost basically every single question. Sorry if I didn't get to some questions. I might have missed it. There was like a million questions at once. And I have still, don't worry, I think we're going to do more of these in the future. Maybe I'll do it every day. I don't know if I'll do it for 2 hours every day. Maybe 1 hour is good. Did I finish my coffee? Almost. The coffee is done. The coffee is done. I have defeated my cup of coffee. Have you defeated your cup of coffee? Probably some people have done it a long time before this. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I really appreciated all the super chats. Thank you very much for supporting the channel and so also just supporting being here, watching this. And we need to keep each other company for the foreseeable future. And I think until my new computer comes in and I can do some gameplay, we can do these sort of live in the morning chats. I hope this was at a good time. I might do it a little bit earlier. Not too sure. We can experiment a little bit, maybe 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 10 o'clock. We did it today at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, but I might be doing it closer to 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. But we're still gonna have videos. So we did this live hangout today, but I still am gonna be rolling out videos about all sorts of topics. We're gonna talk about the companions. We're gonna talk about cards that we think could get unbanned from the ban list. I'm gonna go through all the cards. We're going to look at Birthing Pod, Umezawa's Jite. We're going to look at, I don't know, Hypergenesis, everything. So there's a lot of content coming up in the woodworks for the foreseeable future. There's more things I can do than just the gameplay. But anyway, thank you very much for hanging out. And thank you very much for supporting the channel. And I really enjoy, this was great. This was great. It was a great showing. I had around 125 people. It was way more than I was expecting. I really enjoy it. And if you enjoyed it too, we're going to keep doing this like maybe almost every single day, at least every weekday. So thank you very much for joining, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.